So yeah, pretty much last session, you guys had just finished up talking with the Council of Lylon and discussing with them the. I was wondering why that had not pulled up yet. And had been discussing with them the potential of allowing the people from Phandalin down into Lylon. And you are able to come to an agreement with them based on the agreement that the folks from Phandalin would be helping provide food for the town, considering one of the main concerns was that there wasn't enough fish to already go around, since Lylon is mostly sustained off of the fishing industry, whereas Phandalin is mostly sustained off of the hunting industry, and that Lylon doesn't do a ton of hunting in the, down towards the swamps and stuff, and up towards the north and further out to the east. They really haven't mentioned why they don't do a ton of hunting out there. But after that, you guys went about town because you had to wait a little while for the accords to be written up by the apprentice scribe Sadie. She was drafting up 2 copies of it. So you guys were going about just to mill about town. Iluna and Seftis went over to see Aubrey, where the rest of the group went over to the docks, so me could go down into the Smuggler's Cove and check the things out after the other two smugglers had left town. Along the way, that group was pickpocketed by a few children in the area, and Seftis and Iluna, whenever they were heading over to Aubrey's, they ran into a young boy who was trying to stop his mom from turning in their pig into the butcher. And then shortly after that, the group convened, or Seftis and Iluna went over to Aubrey's. It was there that Iluna started to talk with Aubrey and sold the loot of illusions that the group had. At that point, Albina and Smith showed up, and there was a bit of a lively discussion on whether or not Smith would be allowed to identify some of the items there, because he had discerned that Aubrey was not being forthright with all the information about some of the items there, namely the laces of leaping that had come up in question. And it was after that as well that me showed up with the young boy that had pickpocketed the group with the items that were taken, and then began discussing with Aubrey, revealing that the two of them have some history and a bit of a past during Aubrey's more nefarious days. It was at this point that the other 4 had gone outside, where Seftis had purchased in there a necklace of elven fingers. I believe Smith ended up buying the one of the, I think it was like a superior potion of healing or something like that. I believe somebody bought the superior potion of healing.
No.
No? Okay. I thought you did.
I thought we were getting it as a group.
What, Stacey?
Smith bought beans.
Well, yeah, Smith. I know Smith bought the beans, but I thought somebody had.
Somebody had about it.
Okay.
Okay, I thought we were getting it for the group.
Yeah, that's what I thought that you guys did.
Because I did say that it would be good to have for the group.
And then you guys headed out. You chatted a bit about the necklace, which I know that Seftis still has in his inventory, and I'm pretty sure he did keep it. After it was revealed that if you pluck one of the fingers, you can throw it, summoning a fey spirit.
Yeah.
And
in game, he gave it to Iluna, but he told me later he didn't understand what he was giving away.
Yeah.
And Albina was trying to swipe it up, and then she's like, "Oh, I can't do that."
Yeah. So, but yeah, after that, the group decided to head back to the inn to wait for the Accord to finish up. And it was along the way that Iluna was approached by Sadie, who explained that she had finished up the 2 drafts that she wanted to finish quickly, and she handed those off, explaining that she had put in there, it listed as the Phandalin or the Phandalin Pact, I think it's, I forget what the word is, but a truncation. No, I forget what the word is. But basically, the Phandalin Lylon combined into one word. I can't think of what that is.
Ow.
But
No.
Portmanteau. That's it. A portmanteau of Phandalin and Lylon. So that's where we're going to be picking it up, because the group, like I said, everyone else had headed over to the inn. Sadie and Iluna are out there in town, because I believe Iluna stopped over at the Temple of Lathander.
Yep.
Yeah.
To give them a bloom crawler.
Right. So yeah, so that is where we're picking up, as you're heading over there. So, yeah, Sadie hands you these 2 documents, and she looks up at you and she says, "Oh, and when you head over to Mr. Elibro's tower, tell him that I was the one who drafted these up. I want him to check out some of my penmanship as well as the syntax to make sure that everything's right."
Oh, of course. I would do just that. He should be there right now, as far as you're aware.
Oh yes, he's there. He sleeps there. While it's still under construction, mind you, he is overseeing the construction of it.
Okay. Thank you for getting this done so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
We were last standing right next to it, pretty much.
You guys were over by the Shrine of Lathander. You were right in here. I mean, you can see it. You definitely can see the House of Thalavar from where you're standing. It's one of the most main points in town.
Well, and as far as I'm aware, I have no idea where anyone's at. Did they tell me they were all going to the tavern?
Yeah, they said they were going to the tavern.
Okay. What was that?
Walking down the street singing do what diddy diddy dum diddy do.
Okay, you're too loud. I'd probably head right there. I don't know, head there myself. But
so are you heading to the House of Thalavar to deliver it?
Because that's the main goal, to get this herb sent to wherever we need to send it. But
okay,
I'd just drop it off.
Isn't it also late at night though? I thought.
I mean, it is in game right now. In game right now, it's about 8 o'clock at night. So I mean, the sun is down. It is in the evening.
Oh.
You mean it's not morning?
It's definitely not morning.
Well, then, Iluna would have asked Sadie if she thought she'd be disturbing him at this hour.
She's she's kind of walked away a little bit, and then she hears you say that, and she goes, "Oh, I mean, he's up for most of the evening, as far as I know, especially in the recent days. He's been up at odd hours of the night."
Odd hours.
Yeah, he wakes up every 2 hours at 1, 3, 5, and 7.
Why are you describing my sleep schedule, Lucas?
really,
Why would
buddy.
you do
Yeah,
this to
sounds
me?
familiar.
Yeah, I feel personally attacked.
We're all
Twitch banned
wizards.
him.
Only at the odd hours of night. 11, 1, 3, and 5.
Those are the times I go poop.
What? It's 8 o'clock, so I guess he's sleeping now.
Yeah, right now it's an even number. He's sound asleep.
Awful sleep pattern. All right. You again, and where
What?
ended this head? Luna doesn't know if that has been caught or not. Was that mentioned in the
who?
The arcane archer? Was that mentioned in the
No,
council meeting?
You have no, it wasn't because that's actually what me is going to talk to the others about.
All right. I'm gonna head to my friend's.
Okay.
Because of the archer, that she's not sure if he exists or not.
All right. So you start heading between some of the buildings. You see Sadie running off. She's heading back over towards the council hall meeting as you think to yourself about this arcane archer potentially still being on the loose. You hear a thwip and you watch Sadie just collapse to the ground with an arrow out of her head. No, I'm kidding.
Damn it.
Yeah.
An
You
axe.
head over.
GPK.
I mean,
She's like,
her
I
to
literally-
know her town really well.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that little kid, what a scam. All right, well, there's a dangerous archer around here that can literally blow people up. I'm going to the bar and leaving this child to run back
Yeah,
home.
but she knows her town, and she'll get there quickly.
Sure. Yeah,
Your town.
she knows all the best corners
No,
to die in.
Sadie lives there.
Does she though?
Well, I mean, as far as she knows, maybe she travels very far to do the scribe work.
So you do eventually reach your way back to the temporary sign inn. It's a quiet evening here. Not really much going on. You do see there's a couple of the townsfolk here at the tables just kind of chatting amongst themselves. And we'll say that you see your friends there. So yeah, you guys do whatever you wish to do.
This is the moment that me's gonna take to look at the group and be like, "Hey, whenever you guys want, I gotta talk to you guys about something in a bit of privacy. Too many ears around for here to discuss this."
But okay. I've got this accord. We're supposed to take it to the wizard in the tower so we can get it sent to Neverwinter. Does anyone want to come with me while I just drop this off? Cephas?
What? Sorry.
Listen, as much as I would love to deliver this accord, the thing I gotta tell you guys is very important, and it deals with and he gestures to the bag folding, the contents.
The content. So yay or nay to dropping this letter off, Cephas? Are we gonna
Do y'all
do
have to
this?
do it this late at night? Or is this something that can wait till morning?
What's the main thing we were here for? To get Phandalin some help, so.
Yeah, and then something occurred dealing with the contents in the bag. Me's now just starting to grit his teeth because it is crucial.
Let's hear him out, guys. Maybe
We
this
need to-
letter can be delivered in the morning.
We need to get somewhere more private that isn't here.
Do you know more private?
Yeah,
I
we can get a
prefer-
room.
Exactly. I'll go up to the bartender and I'll be like, "Can we just get one big room for the time being, please?
Bartender looks at you and says, "Yeah, there's a triple upstairs if you need some space.
Yeah, that'll work. How much?
If you need it for the night, it's gonna be 2 gold."
Here you go. He'll give him, her, whatever. I'm assuming him due
Yeah.
to the voice.
Them.
2 gold.
Okay.
All right, let's go upstairs and discuss
Oh.
this.
Now fold these copies of the Accord back into the bag of holding.
Okay.
Just giving into the group's needs right now.
You guys head upstairs. I imagine you would be doing as he did before, doing the alert or the alarm ritual.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay. So you guys get in there. You watch as you goes around with the little bells, creating this
Ding,
space.
ding.
And after about 10 minutes or so, you is finished, so you are free to proceed.
Okay, I'm keeping my voice down so nobody else hears this. So, I had to run in with our little archer friend. Turns out that he's dead, by the way. But
Oh.
turns out our little archer friend was the hunter we saved from the boars. And given, I'll be the first to admit, I'm in all sorts of sketchy business. It comes with the trade. But keep in mind, I would never betray you guys, not yet, and until you give me a valuable reason to. But right now, my life is on the line just because of me and you knowing you guys. And at that point, because I remember Lucas asking if I have the letters, do I have them? I don't remember.
You did. You grabbed the
Yeah.
letters.
Okay. I'll pull out the letters and say, I don't know if you guys can read these, but you was able to read them for me. Every time you guys
Was
open
I?
that bag,
Yes.
yeah, you
yeah.
They're
Yeah.
written,
Oh yeah,
they're
I
written in
think I can
Draconic.
read. Okay.
no,
Also, I think I can read any language.
apparently, every time you guys open that bag of holding and bring out the dragon egg, it sends off a beacon to this entire continent. Because he was able to track you guys from apparently, according to his letters, that the beacon was lit.
Do you pass around the notes?
I do.
Okay.
There was a very, wasn't there like a loud noise or some kind of sonic thing that happened when we first encountered them? Wouldn't
So
that be the beacon?
when you
Because
guys,
the egg has been out like one time with the Aini, and then
That's
briefly.
so
well,
when you
me
guys,
wouldn't know this, but in the
Yeah.
note, if I recall, it did go ahead and mention how whatever town you guys were in, the beacon was lit or whatever.
well, I'll say so. So Iluna would be the only one that could actually read this letter. So imagining it being passed around, most of you are just looking at, what appears to be, what appears to be mostly just like scratches in paper and stuff, because the Draconic language looks very similar to this, so it mostly just looks like scratches and stuff in the paper. But oh wait, no, here's the other one. Yeah, here's the one I
Another
liked.
one.
There we go. That's the one I was
Ooh.
looking for. That's the one from Skyrim. But so you pass this around, Iluna. Whenever you get it, you can read this because you can read. You know the Draconic language. And just to reiterate for everyone, the first one says The egg was last signaled around the region of the Sword Mountains near the town of Phandalin. All the scouts were killed, but the beacon was triggered. As you are aware, the egg is essential to Oleron Mortis's plans to revive the mighty Ebondeath. Should you find it, recover the egg at all costs. That is written. That was written in a very like standard font. The one that you see, otherwise though, is written in a not harsher font, but not as practiced font. And it says, I believe I have found the ones in possession of the egg. A strange group consisting of 2 goblins, 2 elves, a human, an automaton, and a shape changer. During a confrontation with the acolytes of Talos, they descended upon us and wiped them out with little discretion. That night I laid low and rested with them, hoping to gain access to their wares, but a chance was never found. With the severe power they possess, I feel they are likely the ones to have killed the scouting group who signaled the beacon. I followed them to Lylon in hopes of ambushing them, but a group of Talos worshippers stirred up a commotion, and I was unable to down a single one of them. I'm going to try and use that hat of disguise I recently nabbed and see if I can get a little closer to them.
So
Hat of disguise.
this says, but you. Well, I don't know if Iluna would have read all of it out loud because we're trying to be quiet. So it talks about when we encountered them. So the beacon would have happened there, right where we met them, near the sword, right near Phandalin. And then the Talos thing, that was the boars.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, okay, so the archer was Lance?
Yep.
And
Yeah, he's another longer bother either now too.
that's good to know.
He also doesn't have a head.
And our pretty much assured us that the safest place we can have the egg right now is right in this bag that keeps it concealed. Right?
That is what Ayani said, was that one of the safest places you could keep it for the time being is within the bag of holding, because it's an extra planar space that, if it is thrumming, that would be a place where that could be silenced.
What does thrumming mean?
Thrumming is like a hum. We literally talked about this I was going to mention this to you the other day, Aaron, when we were talking about that shard mind and why I named him Thrum, because it's the sound of like a deep, innate humming.
Gotcha. What?
Yep.
And this mentions a disguise? He was wearing a disguise?
Oh, yeah. He had a hat that allowed him to transform into different beings and whatnot. But I did the proper thing of taking the hat and giving it on to, I don't want to say people that I know, but equivalent exchange. It's because that's where I got. He'll turn to Smith and Hannah and be like, "No, I told you guys I found this in the ocean." But as I said, dealing with the darker backgrounds, I don't want to get you guys involved in that, as you guys are more or less the kings and queens lapdogs. No offense to any of you.
Oh,
Ooh,
you have no idea.
where
It's appreciated.
I deal with the darker sides of the law and so forth, and that's actually where I got the horn for me to hear better, because it's more or less you take an item, you leave an item, that sort of deal.
Oh,
You're a much nicer person than I.
Honor
I
amongst
thought-
thieves.
Yeah, I guess you did what you felt was reasonable. Disguising seems helpful, but
Well, we already have one
but
ship there. We don't need more. He
it
groans as
seems
he looks at you.
But I'm all about war.
I'm sure. So it seems this Lance or whoever he was these letters weren't delivered. So
Obviously, if we have
they
them,
so therefore they only know where he was last or whatever he told them last. And he seems to be their only point of contact and he's gone?
unless he made 2 notes, kept one for himself, and then sent another one. But
As a
who
personal
does
That's a
that?
journal,
smart
it's
idea, Aaron.
as a personal
Had
journal,
2
it's
notes.
definitely something I would do.
Sent
But
first note kept.
but the kicker of it as well is I doubt he was their only scout.
Yeah.
Well, he's the one who got very close to us. He seemed to be one of their better ones.
One of us.
It's important. Well, I mean, it's good we know that. I mean, I imagine they have some idea where we're at. Anyhow. Hopefully, they don't know what our party comprises of, since he seemed to be telling them information they didn't know yet.
So we hope, but the main premise of it is you and I have already been seen with you guys, whether it was by him or by other scouts. And I have my own hatred for the Black Cultists, and I will do anything in my power to fuck them over.
Hmm.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Potato.
all I wanted to discuss about. And that's why I said we needed to go behind closed doors to discuss this.
Um, can I copy this letter? Or do
Can
you,
you
do you care if I keep it? I mean, do you guys want this letter?
I'd rather the letter be destroyed so nobody has the evidence.
I can't read it, so yeah, but destroying it kind of sounds beneficial. At the same time, if you just want to keep it in the bag of holding,
That's a little sus to me.
which
Keep keep the letter that has evidence about us with us?
No, why not
with
destroy it?
with the item.
Because
Well, just
maybe Stacy's character's the other spy. Who knows?
no. Let's just wrap the dragon egg in the paper. So if we ever take it out, there is no beacon because the dragon egg is clearly wrapped inside of the envelope with evidence indicating that we have the dragon egg.
That sounds better.
I'm
Paper
going
boys,
to
just me
ask.
being a smartass.
What are you gonna ask?
I'm gonna ask to see the letter from Aluna,
I
Stacy's character.
Well, I wanted to keep it.
What language is this in? I'm
Draconic.
asking
Draconic.
Iluna. Oh, okay.
You've already read the letter.
Listen, I don't care what you guys do with the letter. I just wanted everyone here to know and be more or less on the same page.
I would prefer we destroy it.
Not important right now. I got what needed to be said. So about this wizard's tower or whatever we're supposed to deliver this accord to.
Um, at the very least, Iluna would note down I mean, if me wants or you wants this letter for some reason, the name of the guy or
Well,
Okay.
he's dead
because-
now, but
no, it needs to be
Oh.
taken to crazy named dude
Um,
who I completely forgot the name of.
So here, if you want to do that, I'll put that. Oh god damn it! Forget that it does that. Puts it in there. Fucking
Excuse me.
fucking picture. Um. There you go. The egg is essential to Uleron Mortis's. I don't know why I wrote it like that. Because it shouldn't have a double S. Should be S apostrophe. There we go. Uleron Mortis's plan to revive the mighty Ebondeath.
Yeah, that seems the most key thing. Like, he managed to follow us. The only time he mentions a beacon was.
Now keep in mind, this is from the first letter. The one that seems to be written in a cleaner, crisper font. Whereas the second one, which appears to be written as a first-hand account of the arcane archer, aka Lance, is written in a not harder, but like a, like a more common style font. Almost giving you an impression that the top
He
one.
received a letter
Well,
or it's written by someone else.
everyone, give me an intelligence check.
Yeah, 1 second. Okay.
Okay, I know I had a sheet up, but don't know where it went. Must
don't
accidentally
ever
pull it.
apologize for being the smartest one in the room.
Intelligence.
Yeah, so I'm basically gonna say everybody but Cephas will get this one. The first letter, the one that talks, the one that says, the egg was signaled at this last location. This appears to be written almost as if it was being sent out to more than just one person. That this almost appears to be like, an official document, whereas the second one is the one being written by the archer himself. So those of you, so like I said, everyone else but Cephas, you kind of get the idea that that first one was sent to him. But there could be, because of the way that it's written, almost in like a, to use a lack of a better word, a type font. This could have been like a production. There could be multiple of these.
Scribed and copied in similar fashion, like
Yeah,
I just received from a young.
exactly.
scribe.
This is this is more in line with,
But,
if somebody was making multiple copies of the same thing, like a flyer.
Okay. So this is received, and this other one seems to be a response or an attempt at a response. If not, just his own account. But they're definitely going to be after us, but that's not surprising. I mean, after a first encounter, it's kind of expected. But couldn't we use this as proof that we're one of them? Look, I received this here letter. If somebody could disguise themselves as a cultist.
Except the first letter already describes us in detail.
Yeah.
Apparently in detail enough for the guy to infiltrate our group and become one of us.
Briefly.
One of us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm literally just reading it all again because I am not remembering any of these details.
It was within the first letter whenever he described the party that's traveling together.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Okay, yes. Sorry. So, how about we see this wizard? Sadie said he seems to be up, and it shouldn't bother him. That way he can send it out before morning.
Wait,
Just,
if this is metagame knowledge, I need to know, is it 9 o'clock in game yet? Because you said he's only awake at odd hours.
oh my
sorry.
goodness.
It is. It is about 8:30 at this point.
Half an hour meeting. Oh, I totally forgot what I was gonna
You
say.
guys, though, as you
I
are
was gonna
discussing
ask
this,
kind of out of game.
mm-hmm.
I seem to understand it that this wizard guy, he's not physically sending this letter, that he would send it in a magical way.
that that has neither been confirmed nor denied.
Okay.
Simply
But
that,
is that
as
something that can be done? Is that something we'd be aware that could be done? That it
I mean, the idea of conjuration magic simply existing within the entire. I mean, your companion orbs are are a form of conjuration magic, which, and you guys know that teleportation circles exist, because you all have interacted with them.
okay.
There is always a potential that something like that exists, and in fact, you know that something like that definitely exists because you guys went to the bank in Neverwinter where they have basically deposit drawers with minor select forms of
Okay.
teleportation spells that allow people to deposit stuff into like repositories.
Okay. I was just the whole general notion suggested that getting this letter to the wizard would get the information to Neverwinter faster than we can get it to Phandalin. Like Phandalin will still know last.
Griselda explained that the signing off that the officiant of the letter has to be would be this wizard, that he is a wizard of the order of the scribes, and as is the standing scribe for Lylon in this project. So you can basically think of him as like a notary.
So
Oh, okay. That's slightly different than what I was thinking.
can we backtrack just a hair?
Sure. What's up?
If Aluna wants to keep the notes, is there a
Mhm.
way that I can copy them in just a different language that I know? So then it's not in just Draconic, and we can burn the Draconic ones?
Oh,
Would Aluna be okay with that?
I was actually going to suggest writing it in a different letter, in a different language as well.
well, that's sort of why Iluna wanted. She wanted to copy it And she knows Sylvan, and that seems pretty rare.
So wait, are you aiming to copy it in a more common language or a more
Well,
exotic language?
A less common language.
I would rather copy it in a language that at least some of the party knows. So, like Goblin,
Goblin. I thought the same thing.
because what?
Everyone
Um,
but Smith and Iluna would be able to read it.
Yeah. Because I want to say I know me has it, you has it, and I knew Albina Albina had it.
Well, yeah, and I was thinking less common, so if anyone else came.
You freeze for everyone else.
Let me see.
Common and just give you guys the copy, but
I find it kind of hilarious. I even looked up to see if Smith would be able to understand like the core understanding of the Goblin language because he doesn't speak it, but it's the Goblin language is based on Dethic, which is the Dwarven language. It's the Dwarven runic script. So he doesn't even. Poor Smith.
That's so sad. You have to trust every word I say or whoever else.
Okay. So is the plan for the next couple minutes to sit here and scribe out an additional copy of these two letters?
I would like to do it in Goblin and only have the Goblin copy on us and destroy the Draconic copy.
well then Iluna can't read that one. But you can have one for everyone else. Yeah.
I don't want everybody to have a copy. I just want us to have a copy and it to be a language a majority of the party knows. So then if somebody from the Dragon Cult comes, loots our
some
stuff,
random goblin thing, yeah.
and they can't read Goblin, then they're like, well, this is garbage to me and throw it away. Rather than, oh, shit, this is Draconic. This is from so-and-so. Let's kill them. I do
that's why I
not
was
want
going the other way around to Sylvan, which is probably less.
that only you know.
Well, she wants a copy. So she can remember the details. They're tracking.
They're tracking all of us, not
Yeah.
just you. And if only you have Sylvan,
No, I
how
don't
are
mind
we-
if you copy the goblin too. That's fine.
but we should only have one copy of this. Is what I'm trying to get at. And if Goblin is the most common language that we all have, then a good portion of the party can understand than just one person knowing Sylvan and only one person understanding what the letter says.
Yeah, I then just have 2 copies.
I only want one copy of this letter. There is no reason for us to have more than one copy of a letter. Because it would be very suspicious if we had multiple copies of one letter, and if somebody, for whatever reason, knew Draconic, Goblin, and Sylvan and put it together, that, hey, they're making copies of our letters, this is a little suspicious. Rather than all of our things are being in Goblin.
Majority of us. 3 goblins, right?
Well, one Goblin, a Changeling, and what you are.
Oh no, I meant Iggy.
Yeah, they don't know that you're actually a changeling. They just think because you never told them. They just think
I
you're a
thought you were a
goblin that can
goblin.
shapeshift.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Aaron, you're.
Well, they've seen me shapeshift, so they know I'm not.
I don't think Albina knows enough about any of that stuff, though. So,
Yeah.
Albina, you're a goblin who does magic.
I feel like we're arguing over nothing. Like, out of game, like, what does this letter have in it again?
So the
I'm just
letter
gonna ask Smith's opinion.
the letter in question, the first letter is basically something sent out to that arcane archer that explained that the egg was signaled around Phandalin. It gives the name of somebody, this Uleron Mortis, and then his plan to revive the mighty Ebendeth, and basically as a call to action. The second letter is a letter that was written by the arcane archer that was going to be sent to whoever that information is unknown to you who this was going to be sent to.
That one I think we should just burn.
But
Nobody needs to know that.
But the information in there is basically describing your group, what you look like, the potential threat and danger that your group poses to whoever he's sending this to, and his plans to follow you guys into Lylon.
Why don't we make a happy medium here, and Iluna copies some main points down that she feels are important, and we don't have an exact copy of the letter, and she can have it in her language, and that's fine. It'll just look like a list for her.
I don't see
Well-
the harm in holding on to the original copies if we want the original copies, or making multiple copies if Iluna wants her own copy.
All right, so if we come
I
against
mean, the one with the
Dragon
definite
Cult,
details, I think we should definitely get rid of.
yeah,
in,
because
in
if we
regards
come,
to our group,
yeah,
What, the
'Cause if we-
bottom one?
Because why?
The bottom one.
because it describes our group exactly, and it's just gonna be more suspicious and dangerous for us.
Yeah, I keep hearing the word suspicious. Suspicious of what? Like, who are we being suspicious to?
The people trying to
The
find
culprit?
us.
I think Smith is
They
trying
already
to.
told-
Yeah, I'll say I think Smith is trying to bring up the fact that at least some of the cult already knows what you guys look like.
yes, but not all of the Dragon Cult knows what we look like, and
If
do we
they
know
find this
exactly
letter
what
on us, we have
Dragon
more to
Cult?
worry about than the letter. If they find this letter in the bag of holding, if they have the bag of holding, they have the egg, and that's like mission over. So
Oh.
I don't think we need to worry about this letter per se, because I mean, if we keep it in the bag of holding, there's
We
no
lost
not gonna be
Aaron.
harm in that.
Yeah, Aaron's gone. But
I still think a copy is better in whatever language.
Listen, where I sit, I don't care what you do with the letter. I know about the guy. You guys now know about the guy. I don't care. I'm stuck with your group regardless because I've been seen with you guys now. So whether even if I leave the group, I could still be hunted for information. So you guys do whatever you want with the letter.
Well, I was just trying to appease both members to a degree, because Aaron wants the letter gone completely, or excuse me, only one copy. But the one that lists us or talks about us specifically, describing us, I prefer that to be just gone.
well, Iluna would take the notes, the part I wanted anyhow. Essential to Ulran Mortis, and try and find out the mighty Ebendeth.
And I mean, I guess there's nothing really stopping you from copying it. I mean, unless he's going to struggle with you. Albina's certainly not going to. I was just giving my input, you know.
I mean, the second one doesn't really. It doesn't have much information about that Iluna can use. Except this guy did get into our group and we had no idea. And he was wandering around with a hat of disguise, so we need to be aware that people are disguised. Maybe they all have hats of disguise.
All right, so what is the plan here?
I want I don't care what happens to the second note. She'd probably note down he had a disguise
Okay.
and the acolytes of Talos, just to remember these are who we've encountered. And obviously Oleran, Mortis's plan, and Ebon Death. But I think we should keep. I mean, I don't care what happens to the second letter. Seems unimportant.
Sounds like a plan.
Just like a list of notes, and I don't know, probably maybe put in a language that people are less likely to. Although when you copy like from one language to another, don't you would put their language's actual name of something, typically. Like Uluran Mortris. That's the dude's name. Doesn't typically translate out. Like if I say I'm Stacy, somebody's not gonna rename me just because I live in Germany now.
But doesn't it look different? Like when you write it? The one that you're talking about? Not really the same.
Oh
Based.
no, but
I mean,
anyhow.
it's not going to be, unless you guys are writing it in common. Again, I'm still trying. I'm still just trying to figure out like what everyone's end game here is, because unfortunately, everyone's kind of like
I just want
talking.
notes.
Like, okay, if you want notes, then you can write it down in whatever language, and then if you don't care what happens to the original notes, as you know, as Aaron and some others were saying, just destroy those other ones. So, and if it needs to be in a language that is that isn't easily identifiable, then copy it in a language that is rare. Again, I just want to know where the end game is this, because I don't know what everyone is trying to accomplish.
No, I'm done. I'm good. Do what you want, Stace.
So,
right.
just notes. I already said my notes.
Okay, so if that's the case, so if you have written down those pieces, then what are you doing with the two original copies?
Well, me or you wanted to copy them. I'd take my notes and get it over. I suppose I should make a copy of what I would actually write down.
Yes, please. Unless you are actively writing down the entire things, please mark down what notes you are actually copying off of this. Because again, I get where some of the party is coming from. If you guys run into a situation where your equipment is taken from you, there is a chance that somebody could read those depending on the languages that they know. So I need to know specifically what information you are copying. So figure that out. Send me a message with that. Okay, that's fine. Send me a message with the exact pieces of information, and then we will say the letters can be handed over to you.
Welcome back, Hugh.
Excuse me.
All right. So with that handled, what is everyone doing at this point? We'll say that a couple minutes have gone by, maybe about 5-10 minutes to get the information down, and then you guys are free to do what you would like.
Is anyone willing to come with me to the tower?
As you guys
still nighttime, right?
It is nighttime, and as you guys can hear through the window, it is started to rain slightly outside.
Oh, we have what now?
Wait, let me put the volume up. I want to hear the rain.
Am I gonna actively have to ask what the weather is every 24 hours with that druid craft now?
I mean, that is always a thing you could have done.
That's something I said I would do all the time, and I just I just
I
dropped it
know.
away.
Oh, this rain is really nice. I like this
I know I
ambient.
predicted it, but I didn't tell you guys because figured be inside.
Bina's gonna just. Oh, is there a bed here? Are we in the room still? We
You
have
guys
for the
are,
night.
yeah. You guys are in a small room that has 3 beds.
I'm gonna sit down on one of the beds in the corner and take out my Mimcat, and we're gonna chill.
All right. What is everyone else doing?
Me's already fallen asleep. He grew bored of the conversation.
I'm gonna
It's
send my
just like
Mimcat to jump
politics
on
to him.
top of you.
Oh god! As soon as it does and he feels the weight, he just instantly springs up and goes, "Huh? What? Is it the cultist again? Who do I need to kill? Oh, it's just the cat."
And you just hear him fake just his imitating of a meow. Oh, Rafa won't do anything to you. And he just bounces back over to me.
So wait, last thing I heard was about out the letter. Are we doing that tonight or tomorrow?
Well,
Preferably tomorrow, so we can all can get some rest, just in
Oh,
case if shit
yes.
hits the fan.
well,
Cause I ain't got shit.
our DM told us it's raining now, and there's no need to go out in the weather.
Ah, good. Well, you guys can use this room if you want. I already paid for it. I prefer to go to the more general area.
Yeah,
But Rafa seems to have taken a liking to you. Rafa's just over by your feet, circling around you.
Good. Except,
He wants your hat.
yeah, no, sorry. Can't give you the hat. Me will go out of the room and head downstairs to the general sleeping quarters to obvious do some possible looting.
That's right. I forget every time. Like, why does he want to be out there with them people?
get the
Listen, he flat out told you guys he does shady shit, and he just said the only reason he doesn't tell you guys all of it is to keep you guys safe.
Yeah, Albina told him she appreciates that.
All right.
Oh wait,
So mhm.
Smith, what are you up to?
continue.
You gonna
Am I
get your
doing?
pet out? Yeah.
Sure. I've been playing with my Wolpertinger.
I kind of want to introduce Rafa to see how they play together.
Oh, they've played together plenty of times.
I would say
Brown
so,
chicken,
yeah.
brown cow.
All right, so if that is the case, and everybody is going to be getting a good night's sleep, then you guys can go ahead and mark on your character sheet a long rest.
Can I roll to possibly steal?
Yeah, if you want to do some light thievery that evening, go ahead and roll me a stealth check.
Like,
I have advantage. Let's go.
Uh,
That is a 26.
Okay, now roll me a sleight of hand.
I don't have advantage on that. That is a 10.
Okay. So you so I'll describe it in a second. So I know that Stacy or Iluna was going to be writing down some of these notes. What is as me retreats out of the room, what is everyone else doing? I know you guys are going to be getting a rest, but you guys have like an hour or so, to kind of hang around and do whatever you want. So what is everyone doing?
We got our own rooms in this place. I can't remember if we got rooms or not.
You can if you want. So currently you guys are currently in a triple. So there's 3 beds in there, which was paid for by me. But you can get your own room if you want. It's 5 silver for a room to yourself.
I was gonna
Septis will do that. That's a little cozy for Septis.
Okay.
Yeah, I want a separate room. Iluna typically doesn't care, but she wants. Like this letter is
Iluna?
all like, I need some to gather my thoughts and talk with
Yeah.
my animals and be by myself.
Albina?
Yeah, if there's a bed in the corner, I'll take it.
Yeah, like I said,
Free
I mean,
bed?
you're in the triple. You're in the room that has 3 beds. So,
Cool.
Smith.
Before oh,
Oh, go ahead. No, you're good.
sorry.
You're good.
Before I did my long rest, but I would say before I do all that, I was gonna just send a message to Maggie and just say, hey Maggie, I hope you're doing well. We miss you and we're thinking of you.
I think that's
That's about all.
So you
something
said,
Iluna would
Because
think
I kind of feel
about, but
bad.
can't
I
really
haven't,
do anything about. So
gotcha. So you cast some sending. You hear back in your head, Maggie's voice. She goes, we're doing well. Shit, hold on, I gotta think. Okay. She says, we're doing well. Lenine has yet to get... Lenine has yet to get carriages, and we haven't received news about Harbin's brother yet. But I'm doing well. And
Okay.
that is what you get back.
I'd let Iluna know just before she's heading out. Sorry, I should have probably said to you, Iluna, if you wanted to say anything. I think I can send that twice.
I mean, you can, yeah,
any other time.
Yeah, you can.
So
You
if there's
still
anything
have...
you want to say, I can send it on your behalf.
I'm sure you have things covered. I mean, we're all thinking of her. Hopefully we have good news for Phandalin, I suppose. But we don't want to get her hopes up till we get back. So
Yeah, that's why I was just kind of keep it general, but try to keep in touch, like I said I would, because I feel like I haven't.
How long's it been? Like 3 days?
How long
Since
has
we
it been
left
since you
Phandalin.
guys have been out of Phandalin? I believe that was
I forget the travel time. I just forget the travel time. I always forget to add that in.
You guys, that was the end of session 34. Yeah, so that would have been 2 days ago. That would have been on the 4th.
Oh.
It is currently the 6th, going on the 7th.
I thought travel time was more than that, but that's a...
Travel time is more than that if you guys go across land. Across roads. You guys went through the forest, and because Iluna is a dirty cheating ranger and can move through that forested area.
Normal, regular ranger.
Well, can move through that forested area without much issue. That means that I can't put very many hazards and obstacles in the way, because your background just kind of negates all that. So does your character itself. Fucking rangers.
Dirty cheating ranger.
Dirty cheating rangers.
Yeah, how dare I keep everyone fed and...
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly it. That's exactly what I feel like. How dare you keep people fed? Okay. So yeah, you are able to send that message out to her. And then Smith, what are you doing? Are you well, everyone's kind of, the group is kind of going off to rest for the eve.
Just chilling.
Okay.
Maybe playing with the Wolfganger.
All right. And you, what are you doing?
Didn't you want to copy some of my rituals, or was that something that was discussed already?
Yes, you wants to copy whatever rituals that Smith has into my book.
Let me look at that.
I think
How
there
does
was
that
only
work? Does it cost
one.
money or?
That's what I gotta look at.
I think it's
And just for
just the
everyone,
ink.
That's
I
your
was gonna
book.
say, just for everyone's imagining, Albina told her meme cat to turn into a mini Whoopurganger, so it's just like following Smiths around, running around it.
Right.
Whooper
You can
tingle,
add
what's it called? Yeah.
you can add other ritual spells to your Book of Shadows. When you find such a spell, you can add it to your book if the spell's level is equal to or less than half of your Warlock's level, rounded up, so 4 is your maximum. And if you can spare the time for each level of the spell, the inscription takes 2 hours and costs 50 gold for the rare inks needed to inscribe it.
Unfortunately, I do not have the money for the ink.
How much is it? What do you need?
Like 30 gold, 20 gold, 31, 21 gold.
We could offload some more
About
gems.
that. Yeah.
But
I'm sorry. I
well,
probably can't help with all that. But we have
would
our
Izuna
party
be
funds.
aware that you want to do this? That you're trying to learn stuff from Smith? Because that would come out of party funds, but
This would have been a conversation between
yeah,
Smith
but if it's
and
private,
you.
then
Yeah.
maybe Smith would have to be like, "I'll get some party funds," and not say why, unless.
Let me think for a second.
I can pay for it all.
What exactly do you want to copy? All I have for you is like identify and
Detect
I think it was-
magic.
it's detect magic and identify, yeah.
If you really want to do that, yeah, we can. I can't copy it. How does that? Is that like a warlock thing or what's?
So what it is it's because you has a you took Eldritch Adept and got a book of ancient secrets. So
Out of game, I know I don't know this, but does he have any spells I could copy?
Well, so the way that it actually I don't know if
I don't think that it works that way. Because you're a wizard?
I can copy spells.
Can?
Yeah, I mean he definitely can.
But they have to be like wizard spells. Like, aren't some warlock spells wizard spells too?
I don't want to look at my character.
Oh yeah, no, you can. No, you can. Copying a spell into the book. When you find a wizard spell at first level or higher, you can add it to your spell book. If it is of the same spell that you can prepare and you can spare the time. Copying a spell into your blah, 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 then deciphering the unique system of notation used by the wizard who wrote it. You must practice the spell. Yeah, so you definitely can as well. So you basically could, both of you could pretty much sit there and copy it out of it. Now, the thing is that whereas Smith, all of your spells are in your spell book, you only has certain spells in his Book of Ancient Secrets, which is, if I'm not mistaken, Alarm and Speak with Animal.
And water breathing.
Yeah.
Those are just 3 rituals, right?
Those are 3 rituals, because that's one of the thing. It's only
Is that
rituals.
all he has?
Yes.
Yeah, those are the only ones I've written in my book.
Okay.
Because I can only copy ritual spells into this book.
So, with those, though, do keep in mind they Speak with Animals is not available for wizards, but Alarm and Water Breathing both are. So, if you guys wanted, you could copy Smith. You could copy those 2 spells.
What gives him the ability? Why are they able to copy these? Sorry.
So wizards innately, that's how they learn spells. They can copy spells into their book because unlike a cleric who every morning just prays to their god, and you have access to change out whatever spells you want. You just have a certain amount. Wizards learn 2 spells every level, and they start out with a book that has 6 spells in it. So as they go
Gotcha.
throughout their adventures, a wizard can copy down spells into their book, increasing that knowledge base, because that's the entire idea behind a wizard. Now the thing
okay.
is that a spell book can be destroyed or stolen. So like wizards do have to take that into consideration of like, do you want to make a copy of your spell book? Do you like if you want to recreate it, you have to start from the beginning. But for Aaron's character, it is because one of his eldritch invocations that he took is the Book of Ancient Secrets, where he now has a book of rituals that he can cast out of it.
Okay.
So yeah, basically, and because of that, since Smith has a spell book that has some rituals in it, that those being Detect Magic and Identify, you could copy them out of there. And since you has this Book of Secrets that has 2 rituals, Alarm and Water Breathing, that are also wizard spells, Smith could copy those ones down. So it's up to you guys if you do want to spend the time doing that. Now keep in mind, Alarm and Detect Magic and Identify are all first level, so that would take you guys 50 gold and 2 hours. But Water Breathing is a 3rd level spell, so that's going to cost you 150 gold and 6 hours.
Not even one
Some-
does. You got me for that, bro.
I'm just
I
saying.
was looking at my spells here that I can go through.
Mm-hmm.
One says like inflict wounds, and then the other says inflict wounds wizard. Do I have to be a wizard for that
no,
one?
so that is because I gave Smith inflict wounds.
Okay.
And that's the wizard version, because wizards don't normally get inflict wounds.
Gotcha, because I was like, what the heck is the difference?
Yep.
No, I don't think I'll tell you about the party funds.
What'd you say, Smith?
I don't think I'll tell them about the party funds.
Okay.
I'll just agree and say that special thing, and it's a bit.
Your mic cut out. What did you say?
That special ink used to copy spells is expensive and it's a bitch to get. But yeah, if you want to copy the spell, sometimes we can do that.
Yeah,
But I don't see any point to spending the money on that, really. But that's up to you.
Yeah. So on that note, after talking to Smith on that, he's going to talk to me to try to find some more funds to get some of this ink to be able to copy the spells for the near future as well. And also, question,
Mm-hmm.
Lucas.
Yes.
Say if Smith wanted a higher level ritual spell that I had, would I be able to copy that into his book for him?
No.
For the time, or is that
No.
something he has to do?
That is something that he has to do, because one of the things to keep in mind about spell books is that everyone's spell book is different and unique to that person. So that's one of the whole reasons why copying spells takes a while, is because you have to decipher this. Like normally, if it's a scroll, you have to decipher the scroll. And if it's from someone else's book, you have to decipher their unique system of notation that was written by the wizard who wrote it. So you would not be able to write it into his book for him.
Gotcha. Would I be able to study his... If I were to ask Smith, would I be able to study his wizard book? Just to kind of learn how a wizard uses one. Since theoretically I can read all writing.
You could read all writing, and it would require him to like sit down and kind of explain to you what his notation is, like what certain symbols are and stuff like that. But you could. That might then potentially lead, if you ever wanted to take wizard levels, that would definitely play into that. Or if like at a level where you could take a feat taking, wizard initiate, to get wizard spells, like I would argue in that case, those spells could be added to your book of secrets, just as like kind of a play on that spell book aspect. But yeah, so you would not be able to learn spells from his book through that, unfortunately.
Yeah, no. It's just trying to gain more knowledge of spells and stuff like that. That would be the only reason.
Yeah, if
to
it's
understand spells better.
Yeah, if it's just like with the understanding of more arcane knowledge, that's perfectly fine.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, we'll say at this point everyone's kind of gone into their rooms. Seftis got in his own room. Iluna's gotten her own room. Albina and Smith are sitting up in the triple. They're each relaxing and watching the Wolpertinger and Ratha play on the middle bed, kind of jumping around it and crawling under it and stuff. Me has left this area a little while ago and has gone down to the bar scene. You kind of were like slinking around looking at where some of the people are sitting at the bar and at some of the tables. And you do note that there is one person sitting there who's up at the bar. He has a couple coin in front of him. And so you get this thought, you slide up next to him, you start chatting a little bit, and right as you're about to go and make that, make a slip, make a slip to get that, to get those pieces of coin, you comes up next to you and is like slides up next to you, and it kind of like jostles your hand as he bumps into you, causing you to knock over this person's drink, and it like spills across the counter and knocks the gold towards him.
My apologies. I was caught off guard. Let me buy you a new one, as he gives the dirtiest look ever to you.
The guy's like, oh yeah, no problem, and he picks up each one of his coins. You see he has a couple silver there, and he picks each one of them up, kind of like shakes it off, dries it off on his shirt, and goes, I probably shouldn't be leaving these around. I should probably be heading back, and throws them into his pocket.
Damn it. He'll turn over to you. What do you want?
I need magic ink.
Okay, and how much would that be?
I believe he said it's like 50 gold. 50 gold per spell? Lucas?
Yeah.
Jesus fucking
50,
Christ.
50 gold per spell?
And how much do you have?
Not enough?
Not enough.
Yeah, well, our funds are kind of low considering all of our treasures sink to the bottom of the sea. But I'll see what I can do. As of right now, we don't have the funds, but I can definitely see what I can do, just not tonight.
That's fine. I just wanted to give you a heads up.
Me and you, we'll say, yeah, me and you, go ahead and roll me history checks real quick.
Not 20!
Oh, Jesus. Oh,
Soft 20.
Soft 20!
All right, so you guys are sitting there, you're discussing this, the need of magical inks. The bartender who's now come over, he's like wiping the counter down. And he goes, "Oh, magical inks. Sounds interesting. What you need something like that for?"
My
Base
comrade
magic.
here. My comrade here can do all sorts of stuff with magical ink. That's about the only thing we need it for, is mostly copying of, well, the magic kind, obviously, that normal ink won't exactly work.
Well, you might want to check with, what's his name? I believe it's Gallio. over in the big tower in the middle here of town. He's a bit of a wizardly type. I'm sure he might have something like that.
Isn't that where we're supposed to go tomorrow?
Me just gets this wicked grin and he just nods and goes, "That's exactly where we're going tomorrow. This might work out. Kill two birds with one stone."
You know, I once met an adventurer who killed 4 birds with 1 stone. He
Sorry.
yeah. He was a bugbear. Very lanky arms, crushed a rock in his hand and whipped them at some cock
Was his name
creases.
Tiny by chance?
No, I believe his name was Gormond.
Oh yeah, that was my brother at the time.
Oh. Yeah. He says it was quite a story. But yes. Well,
Taught him everything he knows.
yeah, taught him a good arm.
Yeah, he could bench press me 6 times over.
God damn it.
Does that mean 6 times your weight, or he can just bench press you 6 times?
The
6 times
answer is
my weight.
yes.
Oh, okay. Wow. Damn.
Wow.
My shoulder.
Yeah, don't hurt your shoulder.
I went to rub it and it's just like, ow, it's sore.
Yeah, dude, I get that with this hernia. It's been the same thing. It's like anytime like I have like pressure on my stomach, it's just
And what really sucked is everybody wanted to rub me and pat me on the shoulder last night, and I'm like, "You're assholes." They're like, "What? Why?" I'm like, "My shoulder." Oh fuck,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
I'll give
Alright.
you the best shoulder rub you've ever felt, Aaron.
I'll kick you in the dick.
All right. Go ahead. Like I said, go ahead and process for a long rest, real quick. We will jump to the morning, but give me just a minute. I have to go to the bathroom real fast.
Okay.
Goodbye, Lucas.
Is me willing to be ritualed of water breathing?
I mean, he's always willing.
Okay.
Water breathing.
Every time he tries to go to sleep, you goes ahead and just rubs some seaweed all over his face.
Just take it in, breathe like the sea and the weed.
That's the kicker. Me's always willing, but that's also because he's unconscious and sleeping every time he does this.
Where are we heading, you guys, after this? I'm trying to pick my spells. I never
Wizard
change them
Tower.
usually, but
Yeah, we're going to the wizard tower.
I forgot you get to swap spells.
there's so many spells to pick from, and I never know which one to pick. Oh,
What?
there's this
Yeah,
cool one.
I gotta change my spells around too.
Meld into stone. I can literally walk into a stone object or surface large enough to fully contain my body and become. I
you'll
want to
be just-
hide.
You'll just be like me, who can just phase into the wall.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Like, in worst case scenario, if someone was coming and I needed to hide, I just do that. But then I
Oh, that's
can't
right, I
hear
gotta-
anything.
Reset all of my charges because of the long rest.
There's Water Walk, there's Tongue, Spirit Shroud. My
Holy
Spirit
shit.
Guardians I always have. Speak with Dead. I just got rid of Revivify because someone else had Revivify. Who else has it?
No.
Oh, they might have left the campaign, the ones who had it. Shoot.
Yeah, I have absolutely no spells. I just stab really good.
I was gonna do Life Transference because I can give a 4d8. I take 48 necrotic damage to give some of my health to mend another creature, but I don't know.
Stabbing.
I wish I could learn.
Mend into stone, but I can't.
Sorry.
Yeah, I cannot learn any of your spells, which is bullshit.
Sorry. There's a couple others. Beacon of Hope.
Well, no, it's because Lucas and I had talked about it. It's since you're a cleric, you don't actually have your spells written down.
Mm-hmm.
You just know them, and that's how you switch them out. Because like I have to physically copy it from like your book or a scroll into my book of rituals.
Mm,
So I was like,
gotcha.
oh, look. Albina has silenced and mended to stone. But Lucas is like, yeah, but they're not written down, though. I'm like, fuck. He's like, you can copy Smith's if he has any, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, son of a bitch.
So sorry. This aura
Lucas?
of vitality is interesting.
Lucas?
Healing energy radiates.
I rub seaweed all over me's face.
Oh yeah, giving him
Water
water
breathing.
breathing. Yep.
I like you're like, oh yeah, that's right. That's why
Yeah,
we do it.
yeah. You have a thing.
So Lucas just assumed you were doing this anyways.
Yeah. I'm just like, what? Yeah.
So, my understanding with this aura of vitality, it says healing energy radiates from you in an aura of 30-foot radius until the spell ends, which it says concentration up to 1 minute.
Yep.
You can use a bonus action to cause one creature in the aura to regain 2d6 hit points.
Correct.
Okay.
So yeah, basically for a minute, you can cause as a bonus action creatures within 30 feet of you, to regain 2d6 hit points.
Yeah, it says
Woots,
one
woots.
creature, which kind of stinks for that being a level 3.
Right. Not only that, but especially in the heat of combat,
Yeah.
you're you get hit, you could lose that one.
I
Trying to
would
figure
have
out
given
what's
those
best to have.
notes to you since he seemed to want them. After I copy down like a bullet point, I guess. And you can do whatever.
Yeah, he just wants to
Once,
burn the draconic one and copy it.
presumingly, no one
Motherfucker.
else has any idea what they want, or no one else wants anything to do with them.
Yeah.
So, what is so you is copying them down in what language?
Goblin?
Okay. So yeah, we'll say it takes you, takes you a couple minutes to do it. Just kind of copying over, everything there, trying to get all the phrasing right. Some words in Draconic are phrased differently in Goblin. All right. So with that, the storm has passed from the evening.
So it's snowing now?
All right, I finalized my.
It is not snowing.
I think I finalized all my spells. Yes. Sorry.
Sorry.
Okay.
That's what it did to me today. It rained and then it snowed. Yeah.
All right. I can refresh my page and it should show all of my spells now for you and me.
We'll say you guys you guys wake up, you get some breakfast, fuel up for the day. You can see that it's a slightly grayer, overcast sky out. And you guys are all able to meet up down in the main lobby.
So we heading to this tower. Get these notes or a cord dealt with.
Also, he heard he was a very good wizard.
Yeah. Sadie talks ceaselessly about him. The girl who made these copies. So
Yeah, let's go have a chat with the guy, because he might actually have the ink that you needs. Maybe he's willing to lend us some.
Yes.
oh, you need some ink. I assume that was said out loud.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Well,
We need special magic ink.
Okay. as you guys start making your way over there, there is, as you guys make your way outside, you walk over to the house of Thalavar. And the skies do open up a little. There's a little bit of a
Quick.
drizzle as you approach it.
Can you give me a weather prediction?
Weather prediction. Are you looking for? You can look at it for the day, right?
Yeah.
And hot.
So for the next 24 hours, it is going to be mild, but with steady rainfall throughout the day.
I feel like weather's never been something we bothered with, but
Considering
if it's going to affect our journeys,
considering
then...
I can literally pull it up at any point and give you the temperature, the wind. I've always had that available.
Yeah.
Because that's on the calendar.
But, like, when we're traveling, you've never said, "Oh, it is raining all
that
over
is
you."
because for the last however many sessions that this has been, there has only been one day of rain, and it was a slight drizzle that took place during sessions 6 through 9 when you guys were traveling out to the mountain to deal with the manticore, which I did describe there being a slight drizzle that day.
I did. I have some vague memories of weather before.
This is literally the first time, and it just so happens to coincide with the days that I have the ability to do background sound effects. But anyway,
it's been a while since it's rained, except for that horrible storm that was magical.
Yes, and that was the other time. So yeah, you guys walk up to this. You guys walk up to this massive tower. It's a tall ruined tower that thrusts skyward from the summit of a crag. The uppermost floor is blackened with soot and has a cracked, it almost appears as it's been cracked open like an egg. You can see there's a fissure extending down one side of the building. Wooden scaffolds have been recently placed along this flank, and work is clearly apace to rebuild this structure. At the foot of the tower, you can actually see there are two ruined arches open into the interior. To give you guys a better idea of what you're looking at, you can check out that picture in the chat. That is what you guys are walking up to. And as you do, you actually see at the bottom of this pathway, there are 3 guards standing around. You can hear them kind of arguing to themselves, and like talking amongst themselves. 2 of them are human, and one of them is a dwarf. And you can see that they're all wearing tabards of the Neverwinter soldiery. So these are obviously some of the soldiers that have come down with Sergeant Yoram and the others.
Well, I guess I would greet them and pull up the accord and say, Sadie said wizard Gallio? Wizard. I couldn't remember his name for a second. Would be able to handle this accord.
They when you walk up, you know, they're in the middle of this conversation, and you say this, they look over and they're like, the one's like, the dwarf says, "Oi, you want to go up in there? Be my guest. We're not going back up. Not that fucking place."
Oh? Care
Oh,
to elaborate, my fine bearded friend?
why?
The other one of the humans steps up and he goes, "The whole place is fucking haunted. All right, weird, crazy shit going on. We've been trying to rebuild this place. All right, and Galio's a good guy, but he doesn't seem to care that there is just crazy shit going on there. I saw this old man appear out of a wall with burning eyes." And after that, we were just like, and after that, I said, "No, I'm not going back up there."
But Griselda doesn't know? She seemed to be quite casual about us handing this.
Well, I just saw that. I just saw that last night. But I mean, it's like weird, spooky things going on. You know, a hammer's missing here and there. Strange chills, whispers.
As he's saying all of this, Me's grin is getting wider and wider, and he's like, "This sounds interesting."
Um, can you say that again? It got cut out for me.
He says that there has been like missing tools, strange
Oh.
chills in the air, and spooky whispers.
Well, that's unusual. But
Um,
Sadie doesn't seem to care. She seemed fine.
she hasn't been around here for the past couple days.
Oh? It seemed like she talked with the wizard on a regular basis.
Well, yeah, she, he comes out here and he down on the main floor, but no, not after this. No, not after what we saw last night.
Mm,
Everyone roll me a perception check.
that was sort of like, what do we see? Well, we need to speak with him, so thanks for the warning. You said perception.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I rolled low. I mean, my +8 helps, but
Damn.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. So I'm actually gonna say that it is only Albina who sees this. As you're listening to them, and most of you, like, they're every time they mention Galio, or every time you guys mention Galio, I will say everyone in the group kind of gets the feeling that that they're not telling you something. But in this moment, Albina, you're looking up at the tower. When you look up at the very top of the tower, up where near this opening is, you feel that you can see a like a darker skinned woman wearing chainmail up there. And she's kind of like looking down on the like down towards where all of you are standing.
I'm just gonna like nudge Smith. Smith, look up. Can you see her? What do you think that's about?
Smith, when you look up there, and Albina, whenever you point this out, you look back up, you do not see her anywhere.
Telling you, man, there was someone up there, and I just described to him what she was, and I guess I would let the group know. But
How to
yeah.
make a proton pack in D&D.
Lord, it'd be very helpful. Don't cross the streams, though.
Let me see what it. I guess I'll throw a history check to
Yep,
see if I recognized her.
I was just gonna say that, and yeah.
You
See.
said you described, or Albina described what she saw, or at least
Mhm.
Yeah.
briefly.
First, I was just kind of like, am I seeing, like, is there someone up there? What the heck?
All right, so if that is the case, yeah, since that is the case, everyone can roll a history check.
Ugh. Come on, history.
Smith.
Jesus
Man,
Christ, Jared.
7 again.
Oh, nothing about this tower.
Soft 20.
Lucas, if you actually read that thread, though, that is a very powerful item.
It is. It is. I looked at like one literal one part, and that's the fact that it's moonbeam and sunbeam. So, Smith, when she's telling you this, you look up, you don't see anything up there. You actually see the 3 guards. They all kind of like turn around and they're looking, and the one says, "No, this is ridiculous. Why are we hanging around here?" And the other one, the dwarf says, "I mean,
Because
we're
it's your
still
job?
Yeah,
exactly. We're still getting paid, so we kind of have to be around here. And well, if you're all able to go in there and rid the place of whatever's in there causing this, we'll be glad to get back to work."
How much you paying us?
We don't have the money. I mean, you talk to Elibro. He's the one overseeing all of this. Smith, whenever this was pointed out to you, you look up there. When Albina describes this does sound very familiar, the description of this person. And it's actually from just the day before when you guys were in Aubrey's shop. And you were kind of like, you were looking around, inspecting a lot of the things that he had around there, trying to perceive what could actually be fake or real. And something that you noticed was that in the back of Aubrey's shop, he actually had a picture on the wall that was of an adventuring team known as the Swords of Lylon. And that based on the description that Albina just gave you, it sounds as if this is a like spot on description of the one person that was on there.
And you said it was an adventuring group?
Yeah, so it's it's basically a like a painted picture that he had that was behind his counter that had 3 adventurers on it: a dark-skinned warrior woman, a red-bearded dwarf, and a third whose most of their portrait had faded with age. And there was a placard at the bottom that read "Swords of Lylon."
And do I know anything about this group?
You
Other
don't know
than what they look like from the
you don't
painting
know
or
too
picture?
much. You don't know too much about it. The based on the name, you imagine that they are probably they were probably a local adventuring company from the area at the time, but unfortunately you don't know, the specific details about them.
Uh-huh. I'll tell the group what little information I know about that. Huh. Uh, so I don't really get any sense of, I don't know. Any idea what's going on in this place, right? Like
I
whether
mean,
it's really haunted or do I
you
believe in that? Like that's
that's
I don't think so.
that's entirely up to you.
Like I know that
So-
undead exists, but not like
Mhm.
ghosts per se.
I mean,
and
you guys I mean, I will say this at least. Your group fought a ghost already back at Axholm.
Yeah, ghosts are totally real. One talk to me.
I mean, you guys are literally in a party with a goblin who can turn ghostly and phase in and out of walls and so forth. And you guys are asking if ghosts are real?
No, I think. So Smith tells us about that he saw this like poster or something.
Yeah, it was a
Swords
painting.
of Lylon.
Yeah.
So, have any of you heard of this? Me and you've been in this area. Has anyone talked about it?
The two of
That's a
you.
question for Lucas.
Yep.
Well, we'll say I'll pull the history checks that you guys rolled for that, and I will say that you're aware that this this is one of the adventuring companies that was around Lylon many years ago, back before it was ransacked, and then left for almost not left for destruction, but was kind of abandoned during the last time that it was sieged, and then there really was never resolution beyond that. Like, you don't know whatever happened to that group.
Yeah.
Can I start,
I'm
can I
gonna
start
really,
casting detect magic? Sorry to interrupt.
you're good. I'm gonna relay what Lucas had said to everybody as well, of my history of it.
Okay, what? It cut out for me again. All I caught was the end where it says doesn't know what happened after that.
Basically, as most is what you knows is there was an adventuring company that was around here, but whenever, and this was back whenever Lylon had, right before it was kind of ransacked and sieged again, because that's unfortunately the main history of Lylon, is that they kind of live in this perpetual life and death and life and death and life and death of being attacked by orcs or being attacked. There has been tragedies in the history, but they were one of the companies that was here that had tried to defend it.
Okay.
I also feel like this is appropriate for what Smith, or what me was trying to tell Smith.
You better start believing in ghost stories, Miss Turner. You're in one.
So yeah, you see the three guards. They're standing down there, and one of the humans says, "Yeah, you know what? No, screw it. I ain't going back up there until that place is clean, blessed by a cleric or something. I'm just not. I'm not doing it. It's not worth it. I'm sorry. I'll tell Sergeant Yoram myself that I want put on different assignment." And the other one says, "Oh, come on. This is one of the most lucrative jobs here in the town."
Oh. If Griselda and Sadie aren't concerned, maybe. Unless things have gotten worse since they've been around. Was Smith detecting magic?
Smith messaged me about that. Are you casting that, buddy?
Yes, please.
Okay. So you take a step back. You begin to cast detect magic. So within the immediate 30 feet of you, you don't, you detect the magic that your group is emitting. The auras that you are very used to around your group. Unfortunately, you don't. You are slightly too far from the tower itself to garner anything up there.
Okay. So nothing like toward the doorway or anything like that?
I mean, that's like I said, that's still
it's
far.
away.
Yeah, it's
How
just
far away
far.
are we?
I mean, you guys are at the bottom of that slope there, so I mean, you guys
Oh,
are you guys are a good
Oh,
walk up the
okay.
hill.
Where are
So
the
Where
houses?
did I see her? All the way at the top?
she was all the way at the very top. Like if you look at that picture I put in the chat where that big open arch is, where that like crane-like structure is, you saw her. She
Yeah.
kind of like walked up to the side, had her hand resting on the stone, was looking down at your group, and then that's where you saw her. And then when you went to point that out to Smith, he looked up there and
She's
saw
gone.
nothing. Yeah.
I had
That's
imagined
far.
we were closer to the base. Aren't we?
Yeah, you guys haven't even gone up the slope yet. Because that's where the guards
I
are.
have never had.
Yeah, the guards haven't even offered to go up there.
They won't even.
Fabiana
walk
has
up
some
there.
killer eyesight, guys. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess we'll heed your warnings.
I say we
Sounds
go
good
into
to
the
you.
tower. I'm interested in this.
I say we go too. And can I try to persuade the guards to go
They
as well?
you can definitely try. It is going to be quite a push.
Can I insist? Can I help him with this?
Again, you can try. I have a DC in mind, and you can try.
You may certainly try.
The picture that I put in the chat there, Hannah, that is the person that you saw.
Okay.
I win.
Wow. Did he really?
You
Roll
win.
persuasion.
What'd you say, Smith?
Roll persuasion.
Yeah.
I win.
Just because you roll high and you roll a nat 20 does not mean that
It
plays out
automatically
exactly as you think.
I got a 28.
Persuade them to come
So-
up and then they get scared and run away.
I think the DC is like a solid 70.
It's not that high. It's not that high. Now, you are trying to persuade them, right?
Yes.
What are you persuading them with?
My good looks.
I'm just telling them it's their duty, pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm just
Alright,
kind
they're
of
gonna pay for
following
this.
Smith's lead on it.
Fabiana was
Okay.
trying to be helpful, but I don't know. She didn't do too much. She was gonna kind of be like, you know, that cleric you're looking for. She's right here. We can take care of this. You can come on up with us.
Cleric.
So, you guys, you're trying to tell them, Smith, come on, it's your duty. You is, playing that up, talking about how it's their job, and, Albina comes up and she's, talking about how she is a cleric and that she's the cleric that the group is looking for. And it's at that point that, that the rain starts to pick up a little bit. There's some distant thunder as it's starting to get heavier. You see the one human. He's kind of like, looking up at the sky. He's looking at the three of you and he's like, all right, I'll go up. But look, I'm not saying that I'm going to fight a ghost. All right? I'll help you up there. I'll introduce you to Galileo. But I don't know what else I can do up there. I mean, if ghosts are incorporeal, what am I going to do? You see the dwarf who's standing there and he's like, look, I'm willing to go up. But yeah, kind of the same thing. It's not my business. I was brought on because I know stonework. I can build. I was not brought on to fight ghosts. The occasional goblin or two, sure, but not ghosts. And the other one, says, yeah, nope, don't care. I'm going to stay right here. I'm going to plant my ass right here on the ground, and I'm going to watch you guys go up there, and you're going to get haunted. And that's what I'm going to watch.
Okay.
And anybody that comes by, I'm going to say, there's people getting haunted up there.
As soon as he says about people getting haunted, me just kind of grins, and his body kind of goes partially in.
Nope. Nope. I'm out. Nope. Nope.
He just
I'm
goes,
out.
I'm way ahead of you, buddy. It comes with a
Can I do
curse.
something?
You see he drops his spear, kind of tears off his tabard. He says, "Nope, not worth it. Nope, screw this job.
Power.
I'm gonna go back to my family. I'm gonna be a farmer."
So, hey, there's gonna be more farmers joining us soon once we get this letter delivered. And you two who are coming up, if you could even just give us info on the layout of this tower, that'd be helpful.
Can we get inside? I'm kind of getting soaked.
Yeah,
As he
let's
says, as he
go.
like strains out the water of his hat.
Luna's put her hood up.
Venus gonna just run to the top
It's just
as it starts raining.
While this is happening, you guys turn around. You hear, you see Smith kind of wave his hand a bit, and kind of like wave his staff, and you can see that behind you these ghosts appear out of nowhere. And the guy turns around and he goes, yep, you see, there they are. No, screw this. And he just books it, taking off down the road, heading down towards the south, out
Hold
of
on,
town.
Which way is you going?
He was running south.
And where'd we come from?
You guys were all just kind of around this, like around this area down here, right at the bottom of this slope. So he's pretty much running this way. Like he went between these buildings. He dropped his tabard and his spear, and he's just
You're running
walking down that way.
perpendicular?
What's that?
He's kind of like running perpendicular to us.
I mean, he's just walking away from you guys.
Oh.
I mean, you guys are going to start heading up this path here. He is just walking away.
Damn, I was hoping to get more of a response out of that.
Well, he does. Like, he turns around, he sees the ghosts that you conjure up, and he's like, you see, there they are. They're already out here. You guys are gonna die, and I'm gonna survive. I'm gonna go be a farmer back down in Baldur's Gate, okay? Fuck Lylon. Fuck Neverwinter. Lord Neverember is a pussy anyway. He doesn't leave his fucking castle. Fuck this town. Fuck everything around here. I hope you all well, but fuck all of you. And you see the other two guards standing there, like, the human looks over at the dwarf and says, the mouth on him. I didn't know Kaz had it in him. He was always the silent one, but he was harboring a lot of pain. You see the dwarf says, yeah, you know what, yeah. This is why dwarves kind of speak out, and they're, they get loud, because otherwise you harbor all of that, and it turns into a bit of a tumor. I'm sure he'll be fine.
All right.
So,
What were you gonna say, Smith?
I said, let's do it.
All right, and what were you gonna say, Jared?
oh, basically the same thing of just, so are we going in? We're just going to let him roam free in the storm. Maybe we'll get struck by lightning. Who knows?
He can just.
I already ran up. Albina just started raining.
Pretty much the same.
I used
mean,
prestidigitation to drive myself off.
What were you
but
saying,
I wanna
Stacey?
Ask these. Did two of them agree to walk up with us?
Yes.
Okay. Do either of you got some info about the layout inside? I mean, it's under construction. I don't know how far you've been in the tower.
You see the human. He says, "Well, we've been trying to build it for a little while. I don't know every nook and cranny, but But you're basically the ground floor is where is where Galileo is setting everything up. That's where he has his study. That is where he has that is where the kitchen is.
Okay.
As he's describing this, I'm going to be kind of making my notes on a
Okay.
kind of a basic, quick sketch of the layout.
Okay.
You're keeping in mind as we're getting closer that I have detect magic on.
Yes.
Okay.
And he says, yeah. So like the ground floor, we haven't really done a ton in there other than his study in the kitchen. There is another room that still filled with a bunch of debris we haven't fully cleaned out yet. As of the rest of it, the second floor is mostly like old bookshelves. Most of it's moldy. That's where Galileo spends most of his time. The third floor, though, there's just a lot of collapsed rooms up there, but that's also where the person that used to the old wizard of this place, Thalavar. That's where his old bedroom is. But unfortunately, it's impossible to get in there. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's impossible to get in there because all the collapsed rubble and debris around it is just blocking everything off.
Oh. Okay.
But
Is that it, 3 floors?
well, the very top floor itself. He says the very top floor itself. That's just like a big open area up there. We really haven't gone too far up there. But I will say this. We were trying to clean up the third floor where all that rubble and debris is, and that's where we saw the ghost. So that's what you got to look forward to up there.
Did the ghost attack you, or?
Well, no, it just came out and, like, scared the shit out of us. Like I said, he had, like, flaming eyes and, like, wild hair.
Flaming eyes. Particular. So they were orange.
Well, they were on fire.
When has anyone last seen Galileo?
Last night, when we told him to fuck off.
Oh.
Why'd you tell him to fuck off?
Well, because he told us to get back to work. We said there's a ghost, and he said, you're just bluffing.
Oh, he doesn't seem to believe in seeing the ghost.
No.
Of course not. Okay.
Well, and it's at this.
And
helped us. We'll try to make sure you retain your job here.
And
as opposed to.
No, I'm gonna make sure you get fired.
Bina kind of noticing she really can't sprint up the hill. She's gonna cast her spirit guardians.
She's casting spirit guardians.
Get up the hill.
Okay. Now the thing is that Spirit Guardians requires you to designate a number of creatures that you can see to be unaffected by this. Being that you cannot see Galileo Elebro up in this tower, do you actually want to cast this?
No, we're gonna fight him.
You said you wanted to, Lucas.
I just want to...
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry?
So, Spirit Guardian specifically says, when you cast this spell, you can designate any number of creatures you can see to be unaffected by it. An affected creature, so anyone that you do not openly see and choose, has their speed reduced by half, and when they start every 6 seconds, have to roll a wisdom save or take 3d8 radiant damage by the creatures that you have summoned. Being that you cannot see Galileo Elebro in this moment within 15 feet of, within 15 feet of you, do you want to do that?
He's not necessarily bad.
You don't know.
Think it. Yeah. Okay.
That's I just want to make sure that if you are casting this, I just want to make sure.
Well, is that something she'd cast and it'd be noticeable? I mean, she's casting.
I mean, it takes
load.
6 seconds for her to cast it, so it's not something that she's going to be spending a minute that you could stop her. So this decision is wholly up to her.
So no, Iluna go and
So I just want to know, is Albina casting this?
Yeah.
Okay. And you were the first one to head up there?
Yeah, because as it started raining, I was trying to sprint, and then as I threw my athletics and I failed, I said, well, I better just put some protection around me too.
Well, I'm definitely gonna be running up there with her.
Yeah.
Do I know that she might possibly hurt someone that is innocent? Who is this Galileo again?
Galileo is the wizard that you guys are having to take this scroll to.
Oh, that's okay. I'm sorry.
That's who is up there. You are taking this scroll to Galileo Elebro, who is the scribe that has to officiate the pact that you guys made with the council, and he's the one who basically was like, there's no ghosts, you're fucking babies, get back to work. And the guards were like, no, fuck this, we're out.
And do we know where he is currently?
You only know that he is in the tower.
He could be on any floor, though.
It could be on any floor.
But I'm not in the tower. I'm just running to the top.
You are not currently in the tower. You are just outside of it waiting for your group.
Yeah, I wasn't going in. I was just going to get to the top and get out of the rain.
Okay. So, you are still casting it though, right?
Now that Smith clarified, because I don't know why I was thinking he was the supposed fiery-eyed guy that they were talking about. I think I'll wait, even if I'm putting myself in danger.
Okay, so yeah, we'll say you guys are starting to walk up. You guys see Albina up at the top. She kind of, jogged up a little bit faster. Iluna asking the guards some of these questions about the place, and you standing there writing down the layout of the building. And it's in that moment that Albina starts casting this spell up there, and you can see the spirit guardians begin to flit around her. But it's in that moment that Smith is like, whoa, 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 and Iluna's in the same regard, like, maybe not the best idea. So yeah, you kind of have that thought, you have that realization whenever you're explained what the situation you could be walking into is and the dangers that would pose, and you kind of take that moment and you rescind your casting.
Yes, I jumped the gun, guys. Sorry. Just kind of like stand down.
All right. So
we don't know what we're facing here.
So once you guys get up there, I gotta turn on. What is going on? Why? One second. For some reason. What is going on here?
Potato salad.
Oh.
I like this Kenku.
Yeah,
so do I.
Yeah.
He's a pretty cool guy.
Makes lots of weird
What Kenku?
The audio.
Oh.
The rain.
I was about to say, what Kenku have we come across lately?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you guys did technically come across a Kenku recently.
You,
What's a Kenku?
An
Kenku is
Aarakocra?
no, an Aarakocra and a Kenku are two different kinds. Aarakocra are more eagle bird people, whereas Kenku are raven folk.
Kenku was the mimicry. He helped with the boat.
I don't think I was there for that.
No, you were. You.
Who was
It
there?
was. Yeah, it was me and you who went
Oh.
into the cove there.
Oh.
It was mimicry.
Yep.
I thought
For some reason, all your
we went
character.
in that cove, and you was being a turtle.
Oh no, that is true. Yeah, but then everybody was
Yeah,
working
but we
together
all
over on the
did
other side of the island.
Briefly.
Shit, I gotta close out the app. For some reason, it disconnected. What is going on here? Give me 1 second. I got some technical issues on my side.
Oh. Back to Tiny Tina.
Jesus Christ.
No, actually, I'm gonna look for the flaming hot Mountain Dew.
What is going on?
Ew.
Why is that?
That sounds awful.
It
Did
does.
you try that, Smith?
I did try it. Tina let me gave me one.
That's what I thought. She was trying to give me one.
I'm not a fan.
I was like, no thanks. There's too much sugar.
Can you buy it in stores?
I don't know.
As opposed to
Buying it online?
pretty sure.
There we go. For some reason, it wasn't. It disconnected my encounter log. Okay, so yeah, you guys head up there. It's at that point you reach the base of the tower, and should be visible to the group. You see the two guards there. They're standing there on the sides. As you walk up, Albina, you're standing there like wringing out your hair and everything from the rain. And it's once you guys get there, you see the two guards. They head up, and the one shouts into the place and says, Galileo, you have visitors. And from there, you see they take their stance outside of the building or of the tower. What are you casting?
What's the one that makes my voice echo?
Thaumaturgy?
Yeah. So can I use thaumaturgy, but like throw it off into the distance?
To do what?
Just to make them hear noise of somebody talking.
Make who hear noise?
Everybody.
Are we gonna notice it?
I mean, I guess. I mean, yes, you can. It is a verbal, so like when you do this, you alter your voice. Like, are you doing minor illusion?
Well, I guess I was trying to throw my voice to kind of creep the guards out a little.
Okay, so that would either be prestidigitation, where you can create, like you can create something far away. But no, actually, no, that would be minor illusion, because minor illusion is you can create a sound that it has to be within 30 feet of you.
All right, I do that.
What are you creating, and where are you creating it?
I guess I'm gonna kind of throw it back off into this corner back here.
Okay.
And it's just gonna be a sound of just, yeah, bring him in.
Okay. Yeah.
No, it's Tim casting that spell though.
Well, considering it's minor illusion, it is somatic and material, so he is waving his arms around and he is moving his hands and has his hand on his staff. So you see the guards, they kind of look at you and they're like what are you the human looks at you and says, What are you doing?
I have an itch.
They hear the voice. They hear the voice inside. And he's like, That's not his voice.
For Christ's sakes, who the hell cares? I just yell up through the tower. Listen, we're coming in whether you like it or not. Whether you come and greet us or whether we have to go through these supposed ghosts.
Yeah, Iluna would ask, does he normally respond, or is this like a chance that he doesn't respond when you call him down?
The one shrugs his shoulder. He's like, I don't know. He's been acting weird recently. But we brought you up here.
You did.
Be my guest. So yeah, you guys can head inside. Here's pictures.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Here's pictures of the two guards that you guys have been dealing with. Just for reference.
Maybe later you can give them names.
They already have names. Nobody's just bothered to ask them.
Oh, I was thinking in the whole chat. I was gonna ask, but I didn't want to make you look up names.
Nope, I already had names. Just nobody bothered to ask.
In the whole chat, when I said, "We'll make sure you you retain your jobs," but I just skipped over the asking because it seems a pain in the butt to look up new names.
All right, so
Jenny.
you guys know if for what is worth, their names are Erlum, that is the human, and Gory.
The dwarf.
That is the dwarf. Yes. So yeah, when you guys walk into this room, you are able to take a peek around, and excuse me, you guys are able to take a peek around. This hall, for the most part, is strewn with rubble. Oh shit, Smith. When you get in there, you don't detect anything in the immediate vicinity that is around you. Now, keep in mind, detect magic does have a limitation of 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, thin sheets of lead, 3 feet of wood and dirt. So you don't detect anything in the room that is directly around you.
Okay. Can you tell me when that wears off?
What's that?
Can you tell me when it wears off so I can recast it?
Yeah. It's it'll be on there for at least another 5 or so minutes. And I'll say it's a little more than that. We have it for like another 8 minutes. But yeah, you guys start to make your way inside. And as you do, you get a sense of this room. There is this room is strewn with rubble. There are puddles of muddy rainwater pooling across the floor. You can see that as you look up into the ceiling of this room, that birds' nests have been started in the eaves of the arched ceiling. There is a large banquet table here in the center of the room that is bearing there are like 4 soldiers' backpacks. You can see that they all bear the heraldry of Neverwinter on them.
I'm sorry, could you describe that? You said backpacks again, where?
They're on the table. They're on the large banquet table here. There's you know what? Let me actually.
For some reason I just thought it was a big plank of wood, not a table.
Yeah, there are actually 6 of them. Sorry.
I'm gonna go through the bags.
Yeah, I would like to as well. I'd like to check that out.
We should
Sure.
search these bags.
Cool. Yeah, as you guys start going through them, you start unzipping them, going about it. At this point, the two guards, Gory and Earlham, you can hear kind of the squishing sounds of their boots marching away. And as you guys are starting to open up these bags, a door to the north opens up, and as it does, Smith, you all hear this door open up. But as it does, Smith, you look up this direction. You all look up and you see this man walking out of this room, and he kind of looks at all of you, and you're going through these backpacks. Smith, you can see behind him, the room in there is just aglow with magical auras. And the person you see walking out is this person. And he says, can I help you?
Yes.
What in the nines are you doing? He sees that you are all like going through these packs here on the table.
Mina's just watching. She's not looking through anything.
Yeah, because I heard, I definitely heard that it was Smith, you, and Iluna.
Yeah.
He's like, what in the nines are you doing? These are the gods' packs. Who the hell are you?
Did you hear me? It paused for a bit.
I don't know. What did you say?
I said Iluna would stop what she was doing.
Okay.
And greet him.
Hey.
Nope. Still going through the backpack.
Excuse me. Can you put that stuff down? Those packs do not belong to you.
Hello.
Research.
No, absolutely not. He kind of walks past you, Iluna, and he goes over and he rips the bag away from you. He says, "Absolutely not. I have no clue who you are. You have just shown up in here. I am trying to conduct my business, and you're ransacking the gods' packs here on this table."
I'm you.
Iluna, say the guards, and she would say their names.
Okay.
They let us in here. I'm
Iluna, and they said, free reign to our equipment, is what they said.
Looking for clues.
Looking for clues. Into what mystery? What is in the gods' bags? What is standard issue for Neverwinter gods? Man, I can only imagine the solution to that would have been a simple knock on my door and excuse me, what's in these packs?
We spoke with the guards and they said, I presume you're...
is your name such and such wizard?
Galio.
My name is not such and such wizard. My name is the respected Galio Elebro of the Order of Scribes and standing scribe of Neverwinter and the officiate of Lylon. And for you to just walk up in here in what is going to be the standing pinnacle of Lylon and to just start going through the gear and equipment of those that are under jurisdiction of I should call the gods immediately and have you arrested.
Who are afraid?
Actually, good luck calling the guards because they all ran off.
Well, then
yeah, they think this place is haunted.
They are wrong for what is worth. And even if there was, that still does not excuse this.
Listen,
I apologize. We were looking for hints of ghosts and what could possibly be brought of that thought.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that as well, we came inside, announced our presence. You being this glorious all-knowing wizard apparently didn't know shit that we walked right in your front door. I even yelled out.
I heard them call for me. I'm busy. I was putting my equipment down and I was coming out to introduce myself. But no, you immediately walk in here and you start going through the packs that are on the table. You know, this is why
you can't loop us. all
This
together in
no,
this group. And on top of that as well, we're here on official business from the court.
Okay.
If you would have been there
yeah.
at the court, but alas, I guess you're not that important of a wizard if you weren't invited to the court. But
Well,
me
I am not
was.
that important of a wizard. Then be my guest, please. Vacate the premises. I have apparently not important business to attend to, and I wish not to do business with you. And
No,
you
we
see
do
that
have
he
an accord.
you see he grabs the packs and walks into this room and slams the door behind him.
Oh, I'm sorry. What a way to treat the people that saved your town, considering the storm was about to destroy this entire town. And on top of that, we're here on official business to give you an accord to transfer to wherever you do your wizarding business.
And you hear him like on the other side of the door. He's like, "Oh, sorry, not important enough to know. Apparently, not important enough because in here doing unimportant things."
Where were you when the town was getting destroyed? Didn't seem like you were exactly helping calm the storm. Oh wait, that's right, that was us.
So, is the front door open?
There is no front door. It is an arch that leads into the place.
Okay. I'm assuming I see the staircase over here.
Yes.
Well,
I am going to get out of the sight of the guards.
The guards have gone down. They have
they're
left.
Not here.
Well, the only reason I say this because I still see the guard tokens.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Here, there you go.
I'm going to change into one of the guards.
Oh, Lord.
Okay.
And I'm going to knock on the door and be like, which one do I want? Do I want the dwarf or do I want...
A dwarf.
Yeah, I'm going to change into the dwarf. What was his name again?
Gory.
Gory.
I was said Gimli.
So I'm gonna go up to the door, knock on it, and say,
Okay.
Fuck, what's his name?
Galileo?
How long did it take him
Elio?
Galileo,
to
sorry.
change
Galileo.
into something else? Because Luna just wants to deal with this accord.
I mean, it only takes you an action, so it takes him 6 seconds.
Yeah.
So for the time it takes him to walk up here, change, and then walk back out, you do have an action. You could do something.
Oh, I can't move her. Oh,
Listen, if he doesn't do this, I'm gonna jump to my next plan of action here.
I can move to the door
Oh God.
And what are you doing?
and say, Sadie speaks quite highly.
You just say Sadie speaks quite highly of you?
Hear anything?
Say
I'm sorry.
your camera is completely frozen.
You can hear me?
I can, yeah, you were kind of cutting in and out. He goes on the other side of the door. He's like, "Oh, I'm sure she does, but apparently no one else does, especially not the members of this group, as I am not important enough."
I never.
Sorry? Did you
said
save
that.
this town? No!
All I know
Alvina-
is that your guards are scared of this tower.
Uh-huh.
I threw persuasion at the beginning.
And
I didn't know.
Griselda has asked us to bring this accord. I'm not sure exactly why your guards are so afraid of your tower.
Well, apparently it's haunted. But apparently I am not important enough to be dealing with any accords right now, as apparently
Go step and I walk straight through the door.
All right, so at this point, we'll say that you has come over disguised as Gory. Now, Albina, what were you saying about persuasion?
Before all the lovely yelling started, I was gonna smack Smith's hand, and was it you or me who was digging through the bags?
It was you.
And just say, "Where are your manners? I'm sorry for their rash decision here. We're here on official business."
Yeah, unfortunately, he was a bit more temperamental than you expected. So you guys, while this is happening, you see, you has walked around the corner and has walked back around, now fully shape changed into, into a dwarven appearance. Now the question that I have here, Aaron, is you don't have disguise self, do you?
No.
Okay. So yeah, you look like, you definitely look like the dwarf. Unfortunately, your clothing is still, your clothing and equipment is still the exact same.
I think Iluna would just look at him and be like, no.
Yeah,
He's already irritated with it.
You walk around the corner and you're
What are you doing?
You're in this, you've shape changed into this dwarf, and then everyone can see it's like still the same robes, still the same staff of power, not at all the heraldry or clothing of the Neverwinter Guards.
He walks around the corner.
Sorry, what did you say, Smith?
I'm assuming we know this is you. Have we seen him do this before?
Yeah, you've seen him shape change.
Uh-huh.
What were you gonna say, Aaron?
I'll just say you're not helping the situation.
Yes, that's what I said. It's not gonna work.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, I didn't think this one through, and then go back around the corner and go back into his goblin form.
He comes out. He's like, and everyone's like, no, this is gonna make it worse. And it's at that point.
I was just gonna say, me was just gonna go up and knock on the door and be like, listen, maybe I act a little rash, maybe you act a little rash, maybe the idiot companions of mine decided to act a little rash, and we can discuss this out. So you can either unlock the door, or I will go ahead and make sure this place is haunted and come through the door.
Roll me persuasion.
Would that be more intimidation?
Yeah, actually, no, you're right. Yeah, that would be intimidation. Yeah.
Oh, God.
I'll say it's the same modifier for him.
Yeah. No, my persuasion's higher because I made myself proficient.
Oh, shit, that's right. I'm looking at, I was looking at Yu's character sheet.
I'll say, yeah. Normally, this is why I do all the talking for me.
Because he's not really... I mean, whether he declines it, I'm still going through that door regardless then.
Yeah, you hear from the other side, and he's like, it's not haunted. He's like, it's not haunted. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I tried telling them. It's not haunted.
Okay, yes, but your tower might not be haunted, but I am cursed, and I can easily become a ghost to make this place haunted.
I don't know what benefit that is bringing to me, or why you're threatening me with that.
No, he is me.
Oh my!
It's not really a threat. I'm telling you to be the reasonable man. Come out. Let's discuss this. Because yes, they went through the guards' bags. Yes, they did shit that they're not supposed to. But we can talk this out because we do have the accord from the court, as I stated earlier. Am I still upset that you didn't exactly provide help, which resulted in me almost
I am
dying?
a scribe. And he, like, you see at this point...
I'm sure you have some sort of magical powers.
You see at this point, he, like, forces his way out the door. Iluna, you kind of stumble back a little bit as he steps out. He gestures to his robes that have, like, this design of quills and papers and books and stuff, and like ink wells, and he comes out and he says, I'm a scribe. And he like looks over at Smith and he's like, I'm not that, okay? I can't make grand fireballs. What?
Disrespect, Smith. He disrespected you.
No, hold on. He's like,
Jesus Christ.
He's like, I'm not that. I can't make giant fireballs. I can't call down lightning. I can't make massive ice storms. I can make scrolls. I have been assigned by the council of... I have been assigned... Jesus Christ. I have been
Disrespect.
I have been assigned by the Council of Neverwinter to oversee the rebuilding of this place, as well as to act as the local scribe for any businesses that wish to come in here. I am not walking into this place an adventurer. All right?
Well,
I am
we are
not
here
here.
to help with the rebuilding of this place, as I helped with the dock, they helped at the church, and they helped.
Yes,
or actually,
that is
so
grand. That is grand. And
So-
I very much appreciate that. What I don't appreciate is you walking into this tower and immediately diving in to the guard's gear.
No! Don't be pinning that blame on me. That was
I'm-
those idiots.
and
as
he looks-
instantly points to them.
He looks, he says, I'm sorry, I was under the impression that you are all walking in here as one collective.
We are.
Oh, we're a group, but don't associate what I do with some of those. I'll take responsibility for him. He points to you and goes, "Don't worry, I'll yell at him later, being his captain."
Pirate.
Damn it! The rat comes out.
Rat comes out. He says,
We,
all right, look, enough yelling. All right, I've had a very sleepless night. And I apologize for being as rash as I am, but I demand an apology for going into those guards' packs, as you did.
Comes out with a coconut cream pie, by the way.
Okay.
Cream pie.
I'd like to take a moment to apologize
Just
and say, just as Iluna was saying, we were just, or at least I was just looking for clues because the guards had alluded this place was haunted.
yes, the guards
Like
all
they
have
said.
departed on their own. They
Yes.
didn't seem like they wanted to come back. And they
I do-
suggested you were hard to get to reach sometimes. I can only go on their word. And I trusted you were in here because Sadie was so certain. She speaks highly of you. Griselda speaks highly of you.
But I appreciate it. I do. And again, I apologize for being as rash as I was. It has been a rough time recently. Sleepless
What's
nights. I have been very exhausted recently and been having trouble sleeping.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. But
Could be plagued by ghosts.
You
Maybe the
become a
guards are
shrimp?
right.
There was a massive storm the other day.
there was, but even in that business, I sequestered myself upstairs during all of that. I felt it was safer up there. I figured very few would ever try scaling this tower in the midst of that. But
Vina's gonna interrupt politely. Excuse me. That
Yes.
woman I saw at the top, have you seen her as well? And I'll
What wo-
describe to him who I saw.
no, what woman?
She was at the top of the tower.
There's no one up there. That's where that's the entire top of the tower. That's where the old planar beacon was.
Planar beacon.
A long destroyed artifact.
Can we see it?
To travel
It's
planes.
it's yes. Well, could be
What'd you say?
used. It could be used to travel planes. This was back in the times of Thalavar. It is long destroyed. He says.
Have you-
Oh yeah. go
You
ahead.
know about that lady? Oh, go ahead.
This isn't like. Is this his this is his tower, right?
No, so he is Galio Elebro. He is a scribe from Neverwinter who has been tasked with overseeing the rebuilding of this tower. Now the tower is called the House of Thalavar. So Thalavar would have been the wizard of this tower.
Okay, I'll ask Galilei. What's his name again?
Here,
Sorry.
I got
Galileo.
Sorry, I called him Galloway earlier.
It's fine. Here, let me see.
Galileo,
Have
Galileo.
you explored this entire tower?
And he goes, I have been up and down it. Now there are some rooms that I still have, that we have yet to be able to enter. due to all the rubble. That is partially why we are looking to get this place cleaned up. We have only started more recently.
Would it be
As
okay if we took up
Do you-
the top of the tower?
You are more than welcome to.
Can I leave a copy of this accord with you then?
Yes. Does it need what needs done with it?
And I'm not sure what your particular skills are, but it needs to end up with Neverember.
Is
It's an
this
accord
and
for
you
bringing Phandalin.
you see that he holds his hand out over it, almost as if he was blind and kind of like moving his hand quickly across the page, and he goes, okay, so the folks from Phandalin are coming down and forming as one eye, and he says, is this young Sadie's work?
Absolutely. She got
I-
it done in half the time.
Oh, good kid. I could tell. She likes to play with names. I could see her work in the name of Phandalin. Well,
Phandalin.
if that is the case, then this will need to be officiated. You have 2 copies?
I do. I was told I could have the second one to bring to.
Yes, I will
you
need
mean-
both copies though in order to officiate both of them as a standing scribe of Neverwinter. It is my duty to mark these. Otherwise, all you have there is a piece of paper that could be passed off as any minor street contract.
Well, it's definitely not minor. Hands it over. We very much appreciate this done as swiftly as possible. So.
Well, if we can come to
Phandalin
an
can be
agreement,
down.
I am furious that my workers, those that have been assigned here, have abandoned their duties. If you are able to detect or rid this tower of any spectral presences so that they can come back and finish this job, well then, I would appreciate that.
What if we finished it for them, possibly?
Rebuilt the tower.
He kind of looks at all of you. He says, he says, if you are willing to take over the task of helping rebuild this tower, you would have to bring that up to Sergeant Yoram as the guard captain. He is the one that assigned these guards to this task.
Can I do an insight check to see if there's anything he's not telling us?
Yeah, good.
Too as well.
I am also going. Once we're all done, I want to talk to him as well. Once we're situated, Lucas.
Does he want to talk to you? I'm just kidding.
I mean, we can see.
Yeah.
He's a little feisty.
A little?
Let's see. Okay. So, yeah. You guys definitely do get from him that that he is fully exhausted. You can see that there are bags under his eyes. Now that you had a good look at him, you can see that his robes are like ink stained. His hair is completely tousled, and his fingertips are stained with ink as well. And he just seems to be, very, very tired. He says, look, in my business, I don't deal with spirits of that sort. But if they are saying that they saw it, I just don't have time for the nonsense. I wish to believe them. I want to get this tower back up into its former glory.
Is this source still that?
Your mic's cutting out, buddy.
That'd be my phone. My
Ah.
phone's mine. Is this door still open where you said I saw all these auras still?
Yeah, that's his study.
Now is that what does the scribe do exactly? He's not a wizard, right?
So
He casts spells?
he is to a degree. So he's basically a wizard that is more focused on creating spell scrolls and stuff of that sort. So he is a scribe wizard. So he has like he's able to make more powerful spell scrolls. He's able to make spell scrolls faster. Order of Scribes also have awakened spell books that are basically, a sentient spell book.
Sounds pretty badass. Okay. Do I get any sense of what the auras are? What kind of?
You actually see like every color in the arcane rainbow, as it were.
Meaning, what would that mean to me? I know that like every school of magic, right? But
right,
like, what kind of spells would this be? Like what? Like
so
practically, like what?
It's not necessarily that it would be any spells specifically, but you are. I will say from what you can see with your, with your passive perception, you can see on the wall is a stack of like inkwells, and you can see a stack of inkwells, and what these all are glowing with is the essences of the various schools of magic. So this is telling you that he has inks that are specifically designed to be used for specific schools of magic. Whereas...
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. You're good.
I was just going to say, I've copied spells before, right? I had to use this magic ink before.
You have. So you have
identical
used,
to that, from what I can tell?
It's very similar, but the main difference there is that arcane ink is like normal ink is just, okay, whatever. It's, like squid ink mixed with a binding agent. Arcane ink is ink that is specially designed to hold with an arcane essence. These inks are like, if you were to use detect magic on arcane ink, you just get like a faint generic kind of, like it's not tied to any school of magic, but it is magic to a degree. With these spell scrolls in there, or these inkwells, they are glowing with the colors of specific schools. So you're not just seeing like, oh, this is arcane ink. The one, like, you would recognize the one is, here's the picture that I always go by. So like the top left one, you see an inkwell that's giving out a blue light. That is in your mind tied to abjuration magic. So that to you is just saying like that ink would only be used for abjuration magic, but could potentially make stronger abjuration scrolls.
Okay, cool.
So, and the one that kind of stands out to you, is let me see where it is. Yeah, that's what I thought. So the main one that's standing out to you is the one in the bottom left, the red one, because that is the color of evocation. Your eyes are kind of drawn to that as an evocation savant.
Okay. I'd like to ask him about that later, I guess. But I'd be in favor of checking out the tower, the rest of the tower. If everyone else wants to.
I would. I want to ask if there's places that we need to be more cautious, since you've explored the whole tower.
He says, well, again, I have been up and down the tower. I have not been in every room. So, the second floor, you will want to be, you will want to be careful up there. Hold on one second. Says the second floor upstairs. It is where the library is. You will want to be very careful up there. I have not had the opportunity to go through all of Thalavar's work, and I just would very much prefer you keeping any kind of, any kind of destructive magics to a limit up there, as I have not had the full scope of being allowed to, or of having the opportunity to go through everything, as it has been quite some time.
Destructive magic, guys. Second floor.
I don't know what you're talking about. Smith and I don't do any destructive
No.
magic.
Just
Beyond that,
no.
the third floor has mostly collapsed and been choked off entirely. But unfortunately, they were not able to clear it before they ran off.
And where do you stay typically? Your own? Because you said you were having trouble sleeping. Do you want us to check?
Myself, and he points to the room that he's standing in front of, and you can see in the corner, of the room there is a like a padded chair. That has a very clear indentation in it, and there's like a blanket and a pillow kind of sitting at it next to it.
Was this like up somewhere?
In the room that you're standing in front of. Where did he... Okay.
I covered him up briefly. It wasn't...
Yes.
I was going to move him.
Yes,
no,
in
it
this
just
room.
cut out again. And I heard about a padded chair.
Yeah, there's a padded chair in that room that he sleeps on.
Okay. And that's it? Those, are they benches or bookshelves or?
The one on the far back is a table that has like shelving with it. Same with the ones on the sides.
You wouldn't mind us checking this out if we felt it necessary?
I mean, I can explain to you anything you want to know that's in here. If there is anything in here, I can assure you I've not seen any kind of spectral goings-ons in here.
Why is there no bed?
Sleeps in the chair.
I sleep in the chair.
That very uncomfortable.
It is. Bed. I'm aware. I was aiming to set up a bed over in, and he points across the hall to this room, and he says, I was planning on setting up a bed in there once things have gotten more cleared out, but unfortunately have not had the time to.
Well, maybe we can help with that. Or once the guards and so forth come back, that you'll have a proper bedroom.
Would be nice.
Can I take a closer look inside the room?
Yeah.
Like without I didn't really want to get quite in there unless he was okay with that. But
oh yeah, I mean he's like whenever you asked about the bed, he kind of walked in there. You can peek your head in if you want.
No, I mean, well, sure, yeah. Let's start with that, and I just want to make sure there's nothing off in there.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the walls here are covered. There's scrolls, there are various books, like you can see there are a ton of books in here, lots of scrolls. He has some of them that are laid out that appear to be musty and moldy. You imagine they're from the library he was talking about earlier, but on the one shelf you can see there are scroll pages, like there are actual scrolls themselves, that are giving off arcane auras tied to each of the schools of magic. You can see the ink wells. He actually has like special quills that are also tied to schools of magic as well.
Okay, so nothing like okay, nothing seems off.
Nothing seems off. Like you don't detect any kind of like spirits or anything like that.
Oh,
Smith, can you tell if there's anything wrong with him? Like, if he's under some kind of.
he's not emitting any sort of aura, is he?
No, he is not.
Nothing on him either.
Not that you can see. Like he doesn't have any kind of like pendants or anything like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have any scrolls or info about planar travel? If this is what the tower housed before, maybe it's part of the concern.
Well, if you would like to know, a lot of these books do in fact contain information on planar travel. Unfortunately, you see, they were all written in Thalavar's pictographic code. It is one of the reasons why I've been struggling to determine anything about this.
Do you need hand reading that?
Trust me, I know the spells that you know. And I have probably the same, if not similar abilities. Unfortunately, nothing short of a wish spell, I feel, would be able to discern this information. But you are more than welcome to try. What else do I have to lose?
I'm gonna read what he's having issues with.
Yeah, you look at, he opens up one of the books. Anyone who looks into this, none of you can understand it.
But I can read everything.
You can read, what are you pulling this from? The Eyes of the Runekeeper, right. You can read all writing, which that is not giving you insight into pictographic arcane imagery.
But that's still writing, though.
I get that. But again, there is something there, like, this book is so obscure and specific, you cannot.
Can I make an arcane check to see if I can figure out what might help me?
I will let you, but I will say the DC is impossible. You are more than welcome to roll a die if you wish. But unfortunately, it is so far beyond anyone's scope here that, you know, it essentially is as if you were it's essentially as if you were, you know, a grade school student looking at Egyptian hieroglyphics that were translated from, or like, you know, Greek translated from Egyptian hieroglyphics. You know, it is so far beyond what anyone here is able to understand. And as he's showing you all this, he just kind of shrugs his shoulders and says,
Worth to give it a shot.
Says, yes, I am sorry. It is, as I said, near impossible to figure this out, that short of a wish spell, which I am trying to track down, but that is a fight for another day.
Okay.
But, and he, Smith, he sees you, you know, kind of eyeing up the room, and he looks at you and he says, so, pretty nice place, huh?
It is. I'll just kind of. You said the bed was. What was the bed made out of again?
It's not a bed; it's a chair.
Oh, okay. I'll just kind of gesture to that. That might be why you're not sleeping very well.
I imagine so, but unfortunately, until I get everything settled around here, I don't have very many other options.
I'll just kind of nod.
He looks at you and he says, if you ever have any questions about if you're ever looking for a scroll, though, once this
Oh,
place is up
absolutely.
and once this place is up and running, I do plan on providing, you know, some degree of support.
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you.
So, so where shall we
Speaking of
start?
scrolls, oh,
Go, Stacy.
Oh, I was just to say, where shall we start? But if you has a question for me, sorry.
you.
Oh, sorry.
So you is going to ask. Speaking of scrolls, by chance, would you have any magic ink that would be able to allow me to write? Um, and then he's going to tell him what spells.
The ones from Smith's spellbook.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, they're both divination. So absolutely, it depends on. Do you want scrolls that, or do you want? Are you planning on scribing scrolls for these?
No, I plan on. I have a book that I keep, and I was planning on writing them into there.
Huh. Well then, it would be. Those are both divination spells, and as such, I do have it. And it would be to your discretion if you would want divination ink as well as a divination quill, or if you are simply looking to just copy it with any old arcane ink.
Well, since this is your realm of expertise, what would you recommend?
I would always recommend copying your spells down, no matter where you are putting them, with the appropriately tied ink for the school of magic that you are looking to replicate. It creates a stronger bond. It doesn't take nearly as long and doesn't use nearly as much ink.
Interesting.
Does it affect the spell itself, or it just uses less ink?
It does not. It does not make the actual spell itself any stronger. You are still limited to your own abilities, but it does have a using enchanted ink does have a tendency that should some ill fate befall your spellbook, it is known to last longer. And he kind of points to a candle that is sitting in the corner of his room, almost alluding to using enchanted ink would potentially allow it to survive a burn.
Hmm.
Wait, what?
Using enchanted ink, he's kind of alluding to the fact that if you use enchanted ink, like use the ones that are tied to the schools, that there is a chance that should your book catch fire, some of those pages might be saved and salvaged from it.
Huh.
Sadie mentioned something about creating inflammable paper.
Yes.
The goal of hers.
Yes, she is taking on the old goal that I had in the day of creating an arcane paper that can withstand burning of any kind. Unfortunately, we are still in the process of accomplishing that.
Yes. Maybe you'll have success soon, especially when the tower gets back together.
That is the hope. Oh, here. For what it's worth, I'm going to repost that picture that I put in there because I added the schools of magic that each one represents.
That's better. I'm gonna have to swipe that one instead. So where shall we go, guys?
Well, you're just going to keep talking to him about if he's got any of the ink that he may use to copy some spells?
Yes, I do. And he goes over into this kind of pile that he has, and he pulls out an inkwell. Smith, with your last remaining moments of your detect magic aura, you can see that this is just a regular old vial of arcane ink, and he goes, yes, if you're looking to buy it, I have enough here that should suffice your needs.
It would be able to do two
Uh,
spells written, or just the one?
and he pulls out a second vial. And he
No,
says,
this is not the divination ink.
this is not. No, if you are looking to buy that, it is far more expensive. See, and he kind of turns around and he says, you see, unfortunately, I do not have very much supply of it. It would be 150 gold for the inkwell, but it will take you half the time.
Okay, but it doesn't. Never mind.
Right,
Never mind.
it doesn't use nearly as much, so you would get more use out of it. But it is
It
going
doesn't
to
offset the cost.
right.
Uh-huh.
And how much is the basic magic inkwell?
This is 50 gold.
I still don't have enough for that.
I'm sorry. What do you need?
Bless you?
Did you say that out loud? That you don't have enough?
Yeah, he kind of just looks in disappointment that he still doesn't have enough for the inkwell.
And that would give him one spell?
One inkwell is 50 gold, and so that would give him one spell.
This seems important to you.
Isn't all magic important to people?
Absolutely. You can have some party funds if you want this right now. This is for sale right now.
Yes, absolutely.
You's gonna kind of look at me, look back at her, be like, "Are you sure?"
Well, if the party doesn't mind. Yes, no.
Rest of the
50
party.
gold. I
If
mean,
it's that important to you, we can do it.
is this do you just want the one? I wasn't sure exactly what I'm getting the party to agree to spend on.
I think it's on 2.
Yeah, he would prefer two, but if he doesn't know how much money you guys have, so he doesn't want to break the bank with you guys. In terms,
The party should have some idea. Like, generally asking, does the party care that he gets 100 gold or just 50?
Not really. We got enough gold. Yeah, we'll get to.
Because where do I have that in my notes? If you want to.
I'll say if you've got the money to spare, then I would greatly appreciate it.
So, as you are doing this, you see, you get out the 100 gold that is necessary. You see Gallio. He takes the 2 inkwells, make sure that the stoppers in them are secured tight, and he hands them over to you. And as he's taking the coins, he puts them into a lockbox that is next to his stuff. And you see he pulls out this sheet of paper, and from his open hand, he like conjures this tiny quill and begins writing on there a receipt of sale for you. And then he hands you this receipt saying, basically giving you a receipt for your purchase.
Okay. He's gonna put it in his pocket, not really knowing or ever
I know.
seeing this something like this before. Like
he looks at you
is
and he
this
says,
normal?
he looks at you and he says, I record all of my sales. If I didn't, what kind of scribe would I be?
Makes absolute sense.
But and as he says this, you guys hear a thump come from upstairs, and at the same time, you guys see one of the backpacks that Elibro had set on, or sorry, not one of the backpacks. One of the tools that is sitting out on the table that was over by the backpacks, just kind of falls off. Albina and Seftis, the two of you were standing back there. You just watched this hammer basically like shift and just fall off the table.
Do I see this?
You turn around, you see the hammer that is now on the floor.
Any magic coming from it?
No. Well, your aura has already died off. Or wait, are you recasting it?
Recasting it.
Okay. No. There is no magic that you can see there.
Where did the thump come from? Same area?
The thump came from upstairs. The hammer fell on the ground here.
Okay.
And actually, you can see, Iluna, what we're going to end off at for the night, because it is getting a little later. You can see that Anime is starting to get very agitated towards the staircase. And you hear a voice, you hear her voice in your head as she says, there is something in here. There is something around.
Can you see something?
I can't see it, but I can sense it. And with that...
a plane thing? A planar thing? Because she's... Is that a planar thing?
No, it's because, you know, animals and stuff, they kind of like force sensitive.
Okay.
She is a nature spirit, so she is able to sense, you know, things beyond what you guys are. Yeah, so with that, Galio looks at all of you and he says, well, as I said before, simple scribe here. Best of wishes to you.
Is he like frightened by this?
You can see that whenever he sees the hammer fall off and you guys hear that thud, you can see this like look of fright in his eyes as you know, he's like taken aback in this moment. And he says, well, good luck. If you need anything, I will be in here, hard at work, and good luck. And he shuts the door behind him.
Is that where he pulled all the bags? You said he grabbed all the like.
Yeah, he took all the bags in there.
And, shoved them in there.
Yeah, he put all the bags in there.
I ready my bow. No. I pull off
Well,
the star. No, I'm just.
Yeah. So.
You said it was near the stairs.
Yeah, it was near the stairs. Like I said, you guys heard a thump. You guys heard a thump from upstairs. You saw a hammer fall on the floor. But on top of that, Anime is kind of hesitant towards the staircase.
Yeah. Where's the staircase? I thought there was only one. Is it back in the back in
Yeah,
the
it's over here.
corner? Okay.
But
Can't actually see it right now.
but being that it is 20 after 9, I know we got a late start. Unfortunately, I am
Have to hunt for Easter eggs.
no. No. But Kaylee is going to be home in a couple minutes, and she and I have to go out to the store. So we're going to call it there for the night. I just was not... I wasn't expecting us to have as much dialogue in this one.
There's a lot. I wasn't either. I thought we'd get in the tower.
But
explore a bit sooner.
I'm going to go ahead and... What's up, Smith?
I was just saying it's still a good sesh.
Yeah. Before everyone goes, though, I am going to stop the stream real fast.